Broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
I'm Adam Bergstrom from SunSync Nutrition, here with Justin and Kay of Extreme Health Radio, and we're juicing up the world and spreading love and synchronicity throughout the known and unknown universe.
Want an energy boost? Try Pure Hawaiian Spirulina today and feel the difference. Save 25% off your Spirulina order today using the coupon code JUSTIN, JUSTIN, at extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex. That's NUTREX. All right, here we are, sitting here in the studio once again.
What? This is a radio show?
Golly, 4 days a week.
Wow, how did that happen? How did that happen?
Wait, how did it happen that we did 4 days?
No, how did any of this happen? It's just, who am I?
God?
World, what? No, this is just bizarre to me. I mean, every time you press that play button over there, it's, well,
it's just strange, huh?
How did this all happen?
Yeah, we got 3 microphones here, a big soundboard, and all this studio equipment. I don't know what happened either.
And a weenie dog.
And a weenie dog.
Right by my feet.
You know, as a young kid, I used to listen to the radio. I think I told you this a lot, right? I used to listen to talk radio and all this stuff. I used to love talk radio.
That's still really weird to me.
And I used to pretend I was on a radio station when I was a little kid.
Oh.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
By yourself? Just in your room talking out loud to yourself?
Yeah,
or?
I did.
Did you really?
I was one of those kids.
Oh, and look how you turned out.
I never thought in the... What do you mean by that?
Oh, you turned out great. I married you. Something wrong with me then.
yeah, what's wrong? What the hell's wrong with you?
What does that say about me? Just kidding.
No, but it's just the strangest thing how life works, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so weird how...
It's weird. We've talked about this on shows before, like how you have these passions and things that are probably coming out at such a young age, but you just don't realize them as such, you know?
Right.
And then you get older and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that was something I used to love or care about or do, and it just got so squelched down and kind of beat down by life that maybe that, you know, that clearly was something you were so interested in, and you probably never thought as a little kid, I want to grow up and be a radio person, but look at how the path led you back to something that was initially of interest to you.
And isn't it weird that it takes you a while to go back and to connect the dots? You know how if you're doing something in life that you really are passionate about, you really find what it is you feel like you should be doing in life, and then it takes a while for you to look back and trace all the dots and how did I get here? What led this to that, to that, to that? And that was 4 years ago. That was 8 years ago. That was 9 years ago. And then you start connecting all the dots, and it's just strange how all that works.
In your opinion, do you think there's some master plan that's always been there, or because I used to think that there was a master plan, you were going to end up, there was a point A and point B, and you'll end up at B, but I always thought that there would be a bunch of little possible side roads and U-turns you could take to get there. But do you think there's a master plan, or do you think you it unfolds as you go, and there is no end? I mean, an actuality to where it is that you're supposed to end up, or
it's so weird too, because it takes you how you answer that. It kind of depends on your worldview, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you take a Christian worldview, you're taught that God has a master plan for your life, and that He's kind of predestined certain events to happen. But then if you take sort of a different worldview that you hear about a lot, you talk about quantum physics and how reality unfolds as you step into it and that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I feel somehow this is exactly what I should be doing, and I don't know why or how or...
I feel like I have my hands in both worlds. Like I'm stretched out like a T shape, and one hand is over here in my Christian upbringing, and the other hand is in this other kind of new thought,
right,
quantum world. And somehow I still feel like no matter what, the truth is that God knows and I don't need to know, and the rest is going to end up exactly how it should.
Right.
But it is interesting to kind of pose that question and really wonder how it really works, because you and I have been watching so much YouTube stuff and documentaries and talks and lectures.
We've been attending YouTube University for a while.
Every night.
Every night.
For about 2 years. And there's no homework, which is fabulous.
That's right.
But I just feel like the more my mind gets blown, the more I just can say without a doubt, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. It's more comforting to know, but I don't know. I don't know if any of us actually know how it all works. There's too much mystery out there to say a definite statement about what I know to be true other than what's true for me, you know? And that's,
Right.
I think, the most anybody can say about their own journey. It's
Yeah.
a trip, isn't it? It's such
really
a trip.
weird. Yeah. It's really weird why certain people are in the place in life where they are. Who was it? Was it someone on our show talking recently about, someone in the family takes the role of being the black sheep and to being the screw up and being the person that allows, sort of like, how in football, he said, it was Dr. Massey.
Yes. I'm like, where did I hear this week?
Yeah, I know. Gosh, right? But he was talking about how, if you watch a football play when they're playing on offense and they throw the ball, and they'll throw a ball to one guy, but then that guy will have, 3 or 4 teammates running with him to deflect all of the people that are trying to tackle him. And so Dr. Massey was talking about how, sometimes in a family, someone will take on the role of being the screw up and being the guy that is the black sheep and makes all the mistakes so that someone else could have their journey fulfilled and completed. Which, gosh, who knows? I don't know. It's just, when we're talking with Dr. Massey about family constellation therapy, it sounds fascinating. It sounds really interesting. And
when I first heard that word, I'm like, what the heck does that mean?
I know.
When you mentioned it to me years ago, I thought, family constellation? Like, I pictured there being like some chart or a picture of all these stars with family name, kind of like a family tree. Yeah. But I just visioned it like that. And then when we start breaking it apart, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know. I don't think there's a way for anyone to know. I think we all have like this anecdotal experiences with things and things that happen, but there's no way to prove any of this stuff. I don't think. For you feel like you're doing, what you need to be doing, right? You feel
absolutely. I've been saying that like so many times this week, and we'll talk a little bit more about why I'm saying that this week in particular, but I've never felt in my life before this like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the right time. Like I'm doing work I love. I'm more motivated than I've ever been in my life. And it feels like when people always said, I just never thought this could be true for me, when you heard all those people talk about how, you love what you do and you never work a day in your life. I never thought I'd feel that way about my life, ever.
Really?
I thought that's somebody else's truth. That's true for them. But I swear, the more I immerse myself in motivational talks and lectures and retreats, anything I can get my hands on, which I'm just ravenous for these days, and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I feel like my paradigm has shifted, and I'm becoming that person, who, you might not think you have a powerful story, and all of a sudden you're like, my story is just as powerful as anybody else on those lectures. It's different. But if you extrapolate the parts of it out that are important to share with people, you realize everybody has a really important story to tell.
I know.
Or some purpose to do or fulfill, or some project to entertain that once it's, I get frustrated sometimes because we have these, by the way, we haven't introduced the show, but
we'll do that.
I get frustrated and sad for a bunch of friends and people in our lives that have so much to offer. And there's so much that they just can't take the first step. And they might even actually try to take the first step, and then they just can't keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it's like they just are going to stay in that stuck area forever. And I feel like that I thought that would be me. And somehow I've just broken out of this, quote, mold.
And somehow,
it's unreal.
Somehow you've crossed the barrier between the person who talks about things, right? And the person who actually says, I'm just going to start doing this. Right?
That has never been me before, and that's why I think I'm so shocked at myself. I am. I'm just shocked. I'm in this like state of awe and wonder, and I can't stop telling you about it, or my very best friends, family, and things like that. But like, I just don't know how to. It's like I have all this excitement in me and this feeling I've never had before, and this is the most full my life has ever felt.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's weird.
And it's weird that my challenges were beating me down so bad leading up to this. I felt like now looking back, even in the last 2 years, all that beat down was to try to suppress and frustrate and keep me at that low level of existence where I wasn't getting my story out. I wasn't going to use my talents, it's like that crossroads, where I felt like I had two different lives break off. And one is this life that I'm so happy that's my quote reality right now. Mm-hmm. And the other life where in my head, I imagine where I'm still at that point. And it just is like, that dread, that like stuckness, that, just that dead feeling,
A feeling of no options.
Feeling of no options. Yeah. And that to me is hopelessness. That's like, if I had to describe the word hopeless, zero options, zero doors, just complete stuckness. Stuckness a word?
Stuckness.
Oh, there goes the weenie.
Maggie thinks so.
She's going to go protect our humble abode.
There she goes. All 10 pounds of it.
All 10 pounds. Very threatening.
I know what you mean about that. I mean, it's I think that we have things that we can do, and that if we can do something, we should do one thing, even if it's whatever the smallest thing is towards our goal, because when you feel like you have something that you want to do, but you aren't acting on that at all, then you feel more stuck because you have something that like, maybe this will work, or maybe people will like this, or maybe, there's something here that if I explore it a little bit,
there might be a chance.
It could turn into something. But if you keep putting it off, that's what a lot of people do. Like you're saying, people just put that stuff off.
Like we have this friend who's super uber talented with writing, just amazing writer. And yet I feel like that friend is going to stay stuck forever because, it just sometimes is getting out of, because the last 2 years, of my starting to change careers and paths in life has not been easy. And I'm not saying there hasn't been times when I just want to give up, but it's just getting out of bed and putting that one foot in front of the other and just going about another day. I mean, there's times when I want to pull my hair out. I was so frustrated, or, there was negative rent money in the account, where I'm like, this is not worth it. This is just, horrible.
Yeah.
But yet, like you say, it's almost like you just do this one little thing and you just be consistent. And if all you can do is one thing, whether it's just, choosing your attitude that day, or it doesn't have to be like you go and create this product or start a business every day. I mean, some people are happy in their jobs and, but if you want to change something, whether it be your attitude, your lifestyle, your diet, your lack of friends, your lack of hope, your lack of, whatever you feel like you're quote lacking, or you have a talent to give, like this friend of ours is so talented, and yet you see this total inward struggle of like knowing that there's all this talent within this person.
Right.
And yet they just, for some reason, have this huge wall. There's a brick wall right in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how I felt until my 9 3/4 experience. Which,
that was cool.
That was last fall, maybe?
I think it was last fall, yeah. I forget what show we talked about that.
I wrote a blog. Did I write a blog about that? Maybe I didn't.
I'm not sure.
I was listening to the 2013 Hay House Summit. By the way, the last summit just wrapped up, and if you guys haven't paid attention to that, is there still an option for them to...
Yeah, I'll put a little link in the chat room.
Because that is life-changing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I was listening to, Marianne Williamson. And she was giving a talk with, and I forget who was interviewing her at the time, but anyway, it was the weirdest thing. I took an early morning walk. I had my earbuds in. And I was walking by this really cute neighborhood with these little, pointed roof houses and everything. It's perfect. Yeah. Well, I looked over and this sticker on this car just caught my eye, and it was so strange. It said the number 9 and then 3/4, 9 3/4. And I thought, what the heck? Like, it caught me off guard because, I mean, we live in a little surf town, and there's just stickers all over people's cars, and usually there's something, surf related or whatever. But this 9 3/4 caught my eye because I thought, is this person a baker? Like, I didn't understand the fraction.
Yeah,
why? Like, why this fraction, 9 3/4, whatever. Right. So I paid attention to it. I thought, oh, that's weird. And I even took a picture of it because I wanted to show you how funny I thought it was. Like, how stupid, this stupid sticker,
Yeah.
Then, and I actually pondered, what the heck does that mean? Why would you put that on your car? If it isn't something that you're about, like, I don't get it. So I kept walking. There's this little place that sells tea and coffee by the beach. I went and got a tea, ran into a friend of yours, and then came back out, put the earphones back in, was walking down the beach trail with my tea in my hand, press the play on Marianne Williamson again. And she's like describing in this Hay House talk about a scene in Harry Potter, in the Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Where he comes up to this door, or a train station. He's looking for the platform 9 3/4. And literally, I stopped and my mouth just dropped. I was like, what?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And so I got the chills. And I'm thinking, this stuff just doesn't happen. This is too weird. And continued on through it. And she went on to explain what she was trying to explain to people was that, in this movie, he's looking for this platform that, quote, doesn't exist to the rest of the world. But he had been told very specifically to find the platform 9 3/4 where he would be able to get on this train and go to the Hogwarts School of Magic or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he goes around the train. So I brought up the clip. By the way, it was 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm, yeah. And just for me, by the way.
What do you mean?
It was just for me because it showed the clip when you went into YouTube and looked up Harry Potter 9 3/4, whatever it was, platform. It said it was 9 and 34 seconds or whatever, or 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So I pressed play and it magically changed to 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that happened every time I watched it, which was really funny. Anyway, so I watched the clip and sure enough, he goes to the platform station or the whatever station, that huge one is in London. And he asks the conductor, whoever's running the station, where the platform is. And the guy laughs at him and he goes, there's no 9 3/4. And he goes, he pulls out the letter and said, that's where I'm supposed to go. I have to, find it. So then he turns and after he's ridiculed and stuff, he turns and he sees that sign and it was so cool. And basically it's just a brick wall. It's just this total brick wall.
That's the platform?
That's the like that. There's nothing there but this brick wall.
Oh.
And so he has to choose. And so he sees all these other kids showing up, getting ready to go to Hogwarts school too. And they all just kiss their moms goodbye and they have these carts with their luggage and they run full blast straight into the brick wall and they just go through it. And it shows on the other side there's this train station through waiting to just have them board the train and go to the school. And so she was explaining these doors that seemingly don't exist or at least don't exist to the rest of the world are only made apparent to you at the right time. And that was just an eye-opening experience for me. And I felt like my 9 3/4 was pretty much from that point on, everything has been aligning to in such a way that I've never felt so inspired. And
it's almost like whatever energetic blockage you had was what was represented by that brick wall, right?
Exactly. But
because
my wall,
you had to run through that.
Right, and that's where I'm kind of bringing it back home to our friend who has the wall right up in front.
Oh, right.
It's like I had a wall too, but my wall showed me there was another, I could go through my wall.
Yeah.
There was this universe right through that seemingly brick wall. But I had to be willing, I had to step back and just charge it. And I mean, it's so scary. I can't imagine when you're running full blast at a, solid object. It feels that real.
Yeah.
This block that you have and somehow come through the other side and go, oh my gosh, this is what people are talking about when they could break through that side. And I'm by no means where, my journey's just starting. But it's so empowering and encouraging.
It's so amazing because when you were talking about that, it reminds me of, the Wright brothers when they, and imagine what was going through their minds when the plane was just getting to the point where it was lifting off. Could you imagine? I never really thought about this, but imagine being in that plane and it's just getting to the point where it's lifting off. They must have been thinking to themselves, oh my goodness, this is, what the hell is happening? Crap. What do I do? And then all of a sudden, 3 seconds later, they're 50 feet off the ground or whatever. And then all of a sudden, they must have just been pinching themselves thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how high they went on their flights. I don't think it was very, very high. But at some point, they risked it all for what they thought was possible.
Right. There was no halfway.
Yeah, because there was no parachute.
Right.
You know what I mean? How did they know that they weren't going to die? So they risked it all on their theory of the possibility of what they believed could happen if they applied themselves in a certain way. And so it's almost like running through that wall when each of us has a wall, each of us has something that we need to break through in order to start seeing little pieces of what's on the other side, little cracks in the wall and start seeing what is that? And then after you keep breaking through it, it's almost like what's on the other side becomes more apparent. You start seeing everything that's there. And
that's a great way to put that.
Only until you're willing to risk it all to get through that wall is it going to bust open. You're going to see what's on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Harry Potter had to run through. I mean, for all he knew, he could just run up
right into the wall. I know, right?
Break his neck and be in a wheelchair or something.
Right.
End of the movie.
End of movie. I think there should have been an alternate ending. He charges through the 9 3/4 and he dies.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
In a Stephen Hawking's world, there probably is. It's just crazy how if you're willing to do anything to get through that wall in our lives, anything's possible. You know?
You know what the thing is, though?
Weird.
I realized I didn't want it that bad before. I was content living this like kind of semi kind of life, you know? This semi-exciting, semi-boring life. And
That's a song, by the way, you just quoted.
semi kind of, I know. Who sang that?
I don't know.
Semisonic? No. They were, I don't know who sang that.
A bunch of
Third
guys-
Eye Blind?
Third Eye Blind.
Ah, look at me.
There you go.
No, but I did feel like I was living in this, like, I could have easily stayed in that place. And, I don't
It's
know, something
comfortable.
just called out to me. Yeah. Cause I never knew if I'd be that person to want it bad enough, because you always heard about these people, you have to want it. You have to want the change. You have to have this thing in you. And I'm not a super driven person by nature. So I didn't really want it that bad. And that's what was surprising to me through all this, is to almost see a desire that had been so like caked down with mud and kind of like watch the roots start to grow up through it and crack the soil, and
Yeah, it's amazing.
realize that it was in there. It just was in a different way. I'm not that like cutthroat kind of, you know, pushy. I had to slowly grow for years and years out of the Folgers coffee can through the soil.
Right,
and
right.
there's a little bit of light.
Yeah.
You know, and now I have a flower. Now I'm like, there is more beyond this little tin
Yeah.
can, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Tin can living.
Tin can.
I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I put my foot down.
Yeah, I think that I think there's a lot of things in our society that make it comfortable. You know,
Absolutely.
it makes life just comfortable enough to where it really becomes a struggle to do something else or do something you know you should be doing. It's just comfortable enough. You're making just enough money where you got that extra raise, or you're just doing, you know, it's maybe your boss or your work gave you, you know, a day off on every Friday. You take the day off or something, so it's a 4-day work week, or they just gave you a 15% raise or whatever it is.
Try to entice you to staying when you could be doing
Yeah.
something more purposeful.
And there's so, you know, and getting in touch with what you're supposed to be doing. We're all supposed to be doing something.
Well, and I have come to the conclusion that with anybody that doesn't feel well, anybody with a health challenge, that alone is enough to just keep you flattened.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh. Like, to me, I think that's when this all started opening up, was when I joined you on Extreme Health Radio, and we just did this, like, let's learn about health. Let's learn how to get healthy. And the more baby steps I took, I didn't realize I was so sick at the time. And I realized, man, I was really in a bad place when we first started the show.
Yeah.
And the more that my health started to improve, like we talk about all the time, the more it's almost like my not only my health, but my pineal gland seemed to have like decalcified a little. And it's like, not only were my eyes open, but I feel like, oh my gosh, when you don't have all this stuff weighing you down as much with your health challenges, you can focus on things that you're here to do. Like, it's just a battle, you know, unfortunately, just trying to stay on top of your health and get healthy.
Yeah,
That's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job.
when you don't feel good and you
And
don't have
more.
time for anything else.
Yeah.
So that was a very big eye opener to me out of everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's part of what this whole show is about, because health is just really the conduit through which we're using to get people to do something in life that creates a better world.
Absolutely.
You know, and so health is
like find their contribution and
because
thrive.
we can't do anything in this world if we're constantly worrying about our own health issues, if we're sick, if we're trying to overcome stuff. And so when you can overcome your health issues, I mean, you know this firsthand. If you can overcome your health issues, then all of a sudden you have a little bit of extra drive. You have a little bit of extra motivation. You have a little bit of extra clarity in terms of having an idea of your place in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start thinking, wow, I kind of like this, you know, I kind of like knitting, or I kind of like this, I got this passion for this cooking or something.
Yeah, anything.
And
Gardening.
And so you never really kind of understood what those were. You didn't have the clarity to see that before you were healthy, because your brain wasn't working right. And so you didn't have any of that. And so the idea of this show is to remove all that stuff so you can get to a point where you're healthy and you're not dealing with any, you know, crappy health issues.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, my health, man. It just, you know what happened too is I'm going to talk today a little bit after the break about a project that I've been working on. Today is the day we can kind of talk about that.
Yep.
But when that first became a possibility was right around the time when I got a bunch of, you know, not so great blood work back. And the first thing within me, I mean, it's so funny. Our minds go to the worst possible case scenario.
Right,
you know?
always.
And so here I am for the first time in my life feeling like, okay, I'm getting excited about this new possibility.
Right.
But, and then I went to negative town. I thought,
Don't go to negative town.
Don't go to negative town on me. But in my mind, literally, the minute after I thought, oh, this might be my thing, I thought, but who knows? I could have stage 4 cancer. Like I could be dying right now and I won't even be around to see that project come into fruition.
Yeah.
That's what happened it was so split second, and then it takes the wind out of your sail.
Right.
And I had to fight so hard. I mean, I don't like using the word fight because it sounds so negative, but I did battle in my head for that whole time when I was dealing with more of a host of medical issues, and trying to get my body back on track to stay in the place where I still had a future ahead of me. I wasn't giving in to like, this could become this, or this is so horrible. I'm feeling so horrible and rotten. It's only going to go downhill. I mean, it was an everyday battle in my brain.
How did you do that? What did you, like, what kind of self-talk or how did you change your brain?
Well, here's where everything, like, here's where the rubber met the road to me.
Yeah.
It was everything, like a culmination of everything I had learned and everything I knew to be true in my head, even if I didn't feel it in my heart. I had to try to find a way to connect the two, because I felt like I was at a crossroads with my health where I thought, okay, say I do get, a quote diagnosis of this cancer or whatever, or something horrible, because we always fear getting the worst, whatever your problem is. Say I do get that. Am I really going to listen to everything I've just done on this show for 1.5 years that I know to be true? Or am I going to freak out, go into panic mode, and follow the path that I know not to be true just because I want to deal with this like quicker?
Yeah.
And be on it, but I had to make that I literally came to a crossroads and I thought, okay, this is a health concern. It could be something bigger than I think it's going to be. Am I actually going to go this route? Like, am I actually, even if it is something, God forbid, like a quote diagnosis of some sort, that's really, really hard.
Right.
Yeah. Am I going to be patient enough and try these things that I've heard these doctors and scientists and things speak about that I believe in? Or am I just going to wuss out and be so scared and comfortable?
Yeah.
And so what I did was that's exactly what I did. I thought, I know so much, I have so much faith in this system. This is just a test for me to see if I really believe it personally. Because it's one thing just to talk to these people, hear people's stories, but the minute you have a health thing come up or health concern or challenge or
then
issue,
it's like,
it really does
the spotlight's on you.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And, thank God mine didn't turn into anything, that big of a deal. It's definitely still been a challenge, but it wasn't like a cancer of sorts or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But I did just that. I stepped back. I gave myself time. I read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. Mm-hmm. I didn't freak out about anything. And I added in different protocols. I, stopped my work as much as I could.
Yeah, we took you down to 1 day a week of working.
We did that because it was actually vital. I just needed to heal. I needed that time, and I'm still in the healing process. I needed to do everything I know I needed to do. It was like, I read a book by Lissa Rankin called Mind Over Medicine. She is phenomenal.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. And she says, she asks her story is phenomenal. I highly recommend her book to you guys. But she asked basically every patient that came in when she was dealing on the more holistic practitioner side, when she had time to spend with those people. Mm-hmm. They were sick as dogs and had all sorts of myriad of health concerns. And and she would ask them, what do you need in order to heal? She asked them that.
I remember reading that. Yeah.
No doctor would ever ask them that. They're like, what's your, what's the test level at? What's this? Blah, blah, blah.
I've got this drug for you.
Yeah. Or what's your life like or anything, because some doctors would be like, well, what's your stress level like, But she would ask, what do you need in order for you to heal? And she said these broken people would literally they'd open their mouths and they knew the answer, and they came out often in sobs, or they came out just through, they didn't know. It was just desperation of like, she'd hear stories from, I need to leave my husband, or I need to move out of the country. I need to live in a specific,
it's crazy
area in the mountains that makes my soul happy. I need to she heard it all, and people did these dramatic things and their health completely increased. So when I asked myself that question.
So somehow these people knew. I mean, they knew.
We all know.
We all know, don't we?
That's the thing.
If you look deep down enough and go deep enough, we all know. So sorry, keep going.
No, that's it though. I asked myself what it was I needed in order to heal. And for the first time in my life, I listened. And I mean, it was, some of them are really funny. I'd get hits. I told you I'd be driving along, coming home from meeting a friend, and I would ask myself that question. I get some weird answers, not only go cut down your work days, but it was like, stop eating chocolate for a week. Get back into yoga, pay off your debt. It was like these things that I would write lists. If I need those in order to heal, okay. I didn't make this up. Like,
wow.
Why would I love chocolate. why the heck would I want to give it up for a week? I mean,
Yeah.
it was very specific things that I felt like God was giving me, and I was tuning in to, exactly what it was that my life and God were trying to tell me.
Yeah, it's almost
And
like
I listened for once.
you're gonna learn. You're gonna get to that, like where you're gonna end up is this, like the lesson is gonna be given and the lesson is gonna be learned. It's just how is it going to happen? Mm-hmm. And so for you, it's like, for a lot of people that don't listen, sometimes you have to shake them up more, and you have to shake them up more, and you have to give them some sort of diagnosis, or you have to give them some sort of incredible challenge that they have to overcome in order to learn the lesson that they're supposed to learn.
Absolutely.
And the whole key is learning to listen and learning to get in touch with what you're supposed to be doing. I truly believe that for people.
I never believed that before, because when I first heard when I had that thought posed to me, I forget who was it I first heard it through, but they said it's all in you. Like, all you have to do is remember.
Oh yeah.
It's like, go inward and access that. It's all in there. I thought, what a bunch of crap. Like, I've always believed that the journey was to proceed forward and figure things out going forward. Mm-hmm. Because going back, I thought you can only go back to so many memories or so many traumas and deal with all this stuff. But I thought that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about everything, every answer. We do know. It's just that we're so disconnected.
Mm-hmm. Disconnected from other people and disconnected from even our own ability to understand what we know.
Well, exactly. I feel like we pulled out the disconnect cord,
right?
And we plugged it into another person. Like, we've plugged it into doctors. We plugged it into voices.
Oh, yeah.
So not only are we disconnected, we've actually connected to people to tell us the answer. And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
You don't have time to listen. You don't have time to connect back into yourself.
Yeah.
Whether it's a, health challenge or should I quit my job? I mean, we all know these answers, but we're looking to other people. It's like, whenever I, make a huge life decision, I'll ask you. I mean, you're still another person. As much as I value your opinion, I plug into you.
I'm just another voice.
Or my parents.
Only you know.
Only I know.
Yep. Only you know what's good for you.
And it's getting quiet enough and realizing how unplugged I was and trying to find the plug and reconnect it again. And that's been super powerful on this journey.
It's amazing too, because when Lissa would ask those people, what do you need to heal? It's amazing how quickly they would break down, because on a deep subconscious level, it's all there. They know, their body knows what they want and what it needs. And what was interesting is, in Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, it was interesting because she was talking about, she's got a whole chapter on, is it true?
I love that.
She asks, when you're presented with information, is it true? Is it true for me? Is it true for me right now? At this point,
who says it's true?
Who says it's true? And just getting to that's almost like a mental way of asking yourself a question that would be sort of on a meditative level. Because in meditation, you're kind of separating you from your thoughts, and you're kind of putting that gap there, and you're trying to, you see a thought come in, you just have it come in, and you just push it away, and it's just this revolving door of thoughts, and you're like the observer of the thoughts, and you start realizing there's a buffer there, and you start realizing that I'm not my thoughts, I'm not any of this stuff, I'm just observing everything. Because if I am my thoughts, then how are our thoughts mine? Because if something is mine, there's something that means there's a separation between the thought and the person. You know what I mean? So,
that's interesting.
Like, if I have, a can of Coke in my hand, the can of Coke is separate from me, and I'm me, and I have the can of Coke in my hand. But you would never. So I have thoughts, I have a body, I have opinions, but all those things aren't me.
Right.
I'm just the observer of those things. And so in our culture, it's like the thoughts and the opinions and the desires and all this stuff and how we look in our bodies and who we really are merged together and woven together.
Like the fibers are so intertwined.
Yeah, the fibers are so intertwined. So we think that we are our thoughts. We think that we are our bodies. And
well, that's what we've been told.
Yeah, we treat our bodies like a machine, and we try to hold on to our bodies for so long because that's what healthy people do. But all the while, part of the whole thing is separating the two together or from each other. And so that's kind of a way to do that with Louise Hay's book, Is It True for Me Right Now?
This is cool. Amber Marie's in the chat room. She says, I've totally been using that. When someone says something like, oh, you're just, or you need to, ... I immediately ask myself, is this my truth or theirs? Yeah. I love that people are waking up. I love this.
Isn't this so good?
Yes, that is right on. Like, I align with that completely. I hear you on that. This book, the Louise Hay book, it's such simple questions that we've just never asked ourselves. I wasn't aware
Right.
of, asking those questions. So I'm so grateful.
I
Amber,
know.
that's awesome.
It's so cool because it kind of goes along the lines of what Dr. Massey was saying. If you guys haven't heard that show,
Oh, gosh.
please listen to that. Man, that was so good. But he was talking about this GRCC test or something that was really interesting. But it was basically a cancer test.
That is an interesting. Yeah. Talk about that.
So this is our culture, right? In our culture, we think if a little is good, enough is, or more is better. If green juices are good, drink more green juice. If, green juices are good for everybody. If spirulina is good, it's good for everybody. If, chocolate's good, it's good for everybody. But the thing is everything, is that true? Is it true for us? So this GRCC test, I think it's called this, I might be butchering it, but this cancer test that Dr. Massey talked about, it shows what particular treatment, what your body and your cells are missing at that time and what treatment's going to be good. And so he talked about how some people would take certain things for cancer, and in one person, the person would heal, or in one case, the person would heal. In the other case, the person would not heal. The cancer would grow from drinking green juice or whatever it was. I think it was green juice. And it's crazy. And so like what Amber Marie said in the chat room, Janine said in the chat room, we're so conditioned to think about what everyone else thinks is best for us. And so they have their opinion about what they think is good for us.
Right.
But we don't stop. And like during meditation or prayer or whatever it is, you want to separate yourself from not only these people, but you separate you from yourself. I know. And say like, hey, wait a second. Is this good for me?
Right.
Is what this person telling me to do? Is this a good thing? It's.
What I find so fascinating in this vein is that not only do we know inside the answers, our bodies want to tell us, because not only, like you said, with prayer, meditation, or whatever it is you set aside to remove yourself from your own mind, basically.
Right.
I've been doing the same with muscle testing for my supplements.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I was throwing so many supplements back. Like you're right. Like spirulina is not good for everybody at the exact same time, or it might not be what you need or lacking or whatever.
Right.
But I am shocked. I'll hold a supplement in a bottle up to my chest, basically. Hold it with both hands right by my heart and stand there and just try to, chill out for a while and ask myself inside or outside, does my body need this today? Is this good for my body? Is this best for my body? Does my body need this right now? Would it add to my health? Would it benefit me? And within seconds, your body will answer you. At least my body does.
Yeah, your
That's
body
how
knows.
It knows. It'll either lean toward it, like, yes, please take it, or lean back. So I've been playing around with that in the last 6 months. But the weirdest thing this week is where I've been taking a bunch of pancreatic enzymes because it's something I've needed. And I felt like I needed to back off. So I would hold the jar up and say, is this good for me? And I lean toward, yes, you need it. And I start asking, like, do I need 1? Do I need 2? Do I need 3? And at some point it hit the threshold and my body would it would go from swinging forward to backward.
Wow.
And I did it twice and I go, okay, the 5 is my limit. Today I need 5 of these. Right now my body needs 5 pancreatic enzymes. And it's like, it wants to scream out and tell me that.
Yeah, it wants.
It's there.
So developing the skill of listening to yourself is truly crazy. It's hard, isn't it? But it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It's hugely important.
Do you think that there's something magical happening on an energetic level with when you take those supplements and you do something like that? Because think about what you're doing. It's sort of like what we talk about with coffee enemas. Like that's the ultimate act of self-love.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, we talked about masturbation and all this stuff yesterday with Daniel Vitalis.
Yeah.
But talk about the ultimate act of self-love with the coffee enemas, because you're really putting some intention into your own healing.
Right.
And
like that's loving yourself,
Yeah.
that's actually truly, it's not just making yourself feel good. It's like that is an actual, but when you seriously think about self-love, it's not these things like even sex, with another person. Like after talking with him yesterday, it's, how can you be the ultimate self-lover of yourself before you can even give yourself to somebody else?
I know, right?
So, yeah, anyway.
And so I wonder if there's something energetically that happens in the same way that you pray over your food and you're grateful for the day when you get up and you put your, first foot down, your second foot down, and you thank God for being alive for another day. And when you do that with your supplements and pills and your food, I suspect there's no way to prove this for me right now. Maybe Masaru Emoto is doing some work over in Japan with his with his trusty microscope with messages in water. But, I'm sure that something is happening. I'm sure that if you were to just slow down, all of us, before we take that supplement, before we take that pill, or before we eat the food, and ask if it's good for us, do some muscle testing, and then saying a prayer of thanksgiving over, even in your own mind or out loud or however you want to do it, I suspect something changes. I don't know if it's your body's ability to absorb that food or if the food on a molecular level changes.
Or to get the most out of that supplement and actually have it feed you in the right way more. I don't know.
So think about this. Think about if someone were to just haphazardly throw down some supplements, say, some pancreatic enzymes, and just because they were told that they need them. And then someone took some time out and did the muscle testing, right? And they tested themselves and their body said, no, they don't need them. And they thought for a second, but I've learned they're so good, I'm just going to do it anyway. So on one level, you have someone completely unconscious taking those supplements, right?
Right.
And not trying to tune into their body. On another level, you had someone that did do that, but they went against their body saying they didn't want it.
But they went with their brain thinking, I know this, I've heard this is good for everyone.
So even if you, and my contention is that even if you do muscle testing and you go against it, you're still going to get greater benefit, I think, from doing that versus just throwing stuff back because people told you.
Interesting.
Just because you took that extra step and you took a few seconds and you tried to connect with your body, I think something happened there. I have no way of knowing that. But,
wow.
So even if you were to go against the muscle testing, I still think you're going to get something better out of that.
Wow.
Who knows though, right?
That's deep. You're deep today, Stellman.
Deep thoughts with Jack Handy. But it kind of goes along the lines with what David Wolf talks about, intention. Let's take a little break. You want to do that?
Yeah. Man, we've been just blah.
We haven't even introduced the show yet.
We'll do that after the break.
Let's do that after the break. My
and
goodness.
Verbally throwing up.
Yeah, we just thrown up all of our...
Hey, it's cheaper than therapy.
I know,
And
right?
for all those years I sat on that couch.
I know,
paying
right?
$150 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to eat a fig.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go get a fig at the break.
We're going to run a couple commercials, one for Morocco Method and the other one for Nutrex. And if you get these things, if you buy them through us, do some muscle testing on them. Ask if you really need it, or maybe one day it changes from the next, from one day
Mine
to the next.
Mine do, and that's what trips me out. But
maybe your body's telling you, hey, I need a break a couple times a week, and on a certain day it tells you, hey, I need a break today. Not that it's a bad supplement or that you don't need it, but take
mix
a break
it up,
today.
sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take
Janine's going to go eat a fig too, so we're all good here.
Figs are in season right now. Aren't they?
Yes, I'm in good company. I love this season.
I know, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's all get up and do a little dance, eat some figs, and we'll be right back after this break. If you are currently using any hair care products that contain dyes or colorings, these things can be carcinogenic. You see, anything we put on our skin, even in the shower, gets into our bloodstream and causes a toxic overload to our organs over time. That's why we only recommend Morocco Method hair care products, because they're 100% chemical free, 100% organic, raw, vegan, and even wild crafted and picked according to the lunar cycles. Listen to what our guest Anthony Morocco says about foaming agents in the shampoos.
Well, number one with hair care is the sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the foaming agent, which is really carcinogenic and it's very, very toxic. So that's number one. And so they're so afraid of it. The industry has made 38 different names for it. They've created cocamide, they've created coconut, they've created palm oil. But anything that foams is sodium lauryl sulfate. So I would say that you really need to read your ingredient lists. And if you cannot pronounce the word, it's made in a laboratory.
So would even organic hair care products that foam, would those be damaging as well?
Yes. Organic really today is not what it used to be. So it's just the word. It really, to me, is not reality. If you want a real product, you want to look at Wild Craft.
As a former hairstylist, I love Anthony's products. If you'd like to have truly healthy and luxurious hair, no matter what your texture, go to extremehealthradio.com/MM for Morocco Method or see it in our store. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/MM to learn even more.
Sometimes busy lifestyles and easy access to processed foods prevent us from getting all the nutrition we need to maintain our well-being. If you are in need of an energy and immune system boost, you have to try Hawaiian Spirulina. Hawaiian Spirulina is a caffeine-free way to boost your energy levels without the later energy crash. Pure Hawaiian Spirulina Pacifica is an easy way to support your health and is the most nutritious whole food supplement known to mankind. Cultivated on the pristine Kona coast in Hawaii, this superfood is packed with over 100 nutrients in each serving to support your natural energy levels and boost your immunity. Try Hawaiian Spirulina today and feel the difference. Save 25% off your Spirulina order today by using the coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex, Nutrex. That's extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
We are just having a good time here. Loving this one.
You ruined my break.
I ruined your break. What did I do?
Well, you were in the restroom, and I was busting out a fig, and you yelled in. I said, "Do you want a fig?" And you said, "I don't know. I'll muscle test it." And I said, "Oh, good idea. Of course my body's going to want a fig."
We just talked about muscle testing.
Right?
We just go
How little we
right back into our old patterns.
And you know what? No figs for Kate.
Baby
My
Kate.
body did not want a fig. It was the most delicious looking fig, so I didn't do it. I listened to my body. And then you
Yeah.
came out and tested the fig, and you were just as bummed. Your body didn't want a fig
I
either.
know, but it wanted blueberries.
Mine did too, so I shoved some of those down my face. Maybe after the show, my body will want a fig.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, who knows, right?
I don't know.
It could just be that moment in time. That's the thing. It's like some people think, oh, a certain food, my body doesn't want it. But it could just be it doesn't want it right then and there. Maybe 5 minutes later, your body will want it.
Right, though?
Even if muscle testing is not accurate and it's not true and there's nothing to it, the very act of you going through that and trying to get in touch with your body,
Yes.
I think it's just incredibly powerful.
Yes, I do too. And that's the whole point. It's like an exercise, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just exercise that and see, you know, just get into that habit of listening to your body.
Yeah.
Whether or not you listen to it is your call. I mean, I've had things where I've completely, you know, I almost just pounded that fig anyway and thought, what the heck? Like, I just want to eat this fig.
Yeah.
But, you know, the more you do it, the more you're like, oh, you do trial and error and you start to see the difference when you listen versus you go for it. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But
I wonder
at least we're tuning in.
with muscle testing if it becomes stronger as you do it more and as you clear away the blocks and the distractions of listening to your body. I wonder if muscle testing becomes more prominent and you can be more accurate with it because you're starting to be able to listen at that frequency more because you do it so often.
I think so.
Probably.
I think it's kind of like it's kind of like when you have a trained eye towards something or you become energetically sensitive to something. I think it's just, creating that awareness, and then you are off and running and able to really tune into that. So
Yeah, it's like listening. You know how some people can listen and hear certain pitches and frequencies, like, you know, if they have an eye for or an ear for music, they can hear certain notes or whatever. And I bet it's like that. You know, you can start listening to your body more.
yeah.
Pretty interesting. I like what David Wolf said about intention. He quoted Muhammad Ali. Was it? No, I'm sorry. I keep wanting to say Muhammad
You've
Ali.
said this before.
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson. But a reporter. Hey, I was close.
I know. I was going to say at least it's in the.
At least it was
At
in
least you're like, it's Ansel Adams. Farmer John.
it was Farmer John. Sorry, is it Muhammad Ali or Farmer John? I don't know. I don't
Who's
know.
Farmer John? Is this some kind of bacon company or something? I just
I
made
don't
that up. Okay.
But Mike Tyson, a reporter asked him about why his punches are so powerful, because he used to have this uppercut that would just drop guys, 250-pound guys, just drop them one punch.
Wow.
And he was saying, when I throw a punch, I do everything I do in the ring, I do it with mean intention. And so it's interesting, because why go in there and throw all these jabs that aren't going to do anything? Why waste your energy? If you throw a jab and you know it's not going to hit the person, why
Waste your time.
Why waste your time?
Interesting.
And so he's throwing every punch with the intention of knocking that other guy out. So everything else is a waste of time. And so with our life, we can do the same thing. Everything we do in our life, what's the intention behind it? And is there a way to enhance it too? Like, if I have the intention of knocking a guy out and I only half punch the guy, then it's just a waste of time and a waste of energy and everything else. But if we have intention behind everything we do, we can enhance everything and get the exact result without having to spend 12 rounds in the ring. You can knock a guy out in the first round, which is what he always did. Just knock guys out with the one punch.
Wow.
And his answer to the reporter's question was, I throw every punch with mean intention, which is pretty powerful.
That's a quote for the ages, isn't it?
I know, right?
Truly. I mean, if you apply that to like you're talking about like living life and
yeah. Because like, when you're making a green juice or when you're doing something for yourself, you go out and for a walk or you get out in nature by yourself, what's your intention behind it? Is there a way to enhance what you're doing? Is there a way to not just go out for a regular walk, but do something to improve the walk or have really good intention behind it,
Right.
So I don't know, something to think about. I try to do that, with everything I do. Try to do it with intention. What's the end result of this action going to be? If I keep doing this every day, what's going to be the result of this?
That's true, and that starts on such an elementary level. Like, I think in the last year, both you and I can probably say without a doubt that we put more intention into chewing our food.
Yeah.
Because we were already eating fabulous as far as like what our diet was.
We just put the food straight into the stomach.
Yeah, just shove it down the pie hole and not even chew it. That's how much we love eating.
Shove it down the pie hole.
It's one way to put it, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we watched this whole, what was that? What was Stephen Hines' DVD called? That was pretty life-changing.
Learn how to treat yourself or learn how to
treat yourself.
How to take care of yourself.
Oh,
we'll put a link to it. Stephen Hines, man, if you guys want to learn about digestion, get this DVD. It's kick ass.
It is. And this whole literally learning how to eat with intention so that it can alleviate so much of the pressure off your digestive system and organs.
Totally.
I mean, so you and I mean, that's one small thing, but it starts with a little intention with like chew your food into basically water before you swallow it. Then that goes into everything. That opened up my mind into like, yeah, you're watching a DVD on chewing your food. And how to do a coffee enema, and all of a sudden there's this intention in everything else you're doing. I mean, it's totally bizarre.
Yeah, you could bump everything up by 100 times by doing that.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, think about what I love about food is it's a perfect gateway. Food and health and stuff like this. It's a perfect gateway because we do it every single day. If you could learn how to put intention into the food you eat, the way you eat it, how you eat it,
who prepared it, where it came from,
all that. Doing muscle testing. If you could learn to get in tune with your intuition and put some intention into these things, like the intention of love when you're cooking your food, just being consciously aware of everything you're doing and what energy is being infused. So if you're cooking your food and, something happens, some event happens, maybe someone comes to your door and makes you angry, or a phone call makes you angry during the time that you're cooking your food, doing that consciously with intention will help you snap back and be like, okay, when I'm preparing my food, that love that I have and that appreciation and gratitude for life that I have when I'm in the kitchen preparing the food, that's going to get into the food. Somehow,
energetically,
on an energetic level, that's going to get into the food. In the same way, if I'm angry and upset, that's going to get into the food too. So doing everything with intention, you immediately realize you might snap and get angry at something while you're preparing food. But if you're living with intention and living consciously, you can snap back and say, okay, step back. I'm not my emotions. I'm not any of this stuff. All that stuff happened 10 minutes ago. I no longer need to be upset. That's all in the past. I'm right here. I'm right now. And you can get back into the intention. And so then you start doing it with something as, quote, meaningless or stupid as preparing a meal, which I don't think it is, but something as mundane as that. And then you can start taking that same concept, other area of your life.
And just applying it. And
yeah, it's an
awareness thing.
Yeah, it's like a system that you can reproduce in different areas of your life, So I don't know. I think it's important.
Wow, I do too.
So
what?
Uh-oh.
Are you putting me on the spot?
Putting you on the spot. Spotlight's on you, baby Kate.
Uh-oh. What is it on me for? I don't like that look in your eyes. It's scaring me.
You've got a pretty incredible announcement to talk about, don't you?
I do have a great announcement. Today is a big day for the life of our offshoot of Extreme Health Radio.
Baby Bear Cub. Right?
Yes. I have been working, earlier I spoke about a project I've been working on for probably about the time it takes for a baby to develop. So 8-9 months?
Yep.
So this is our baby. We birthed it today.
We birthed it today.
Yeah,
I didn't birth it.
You didn't birth it. A friend and I have been working literally for the past, we've been speaking for probably just under a year, but we're really working on this project for about 8 to 9 months. And today it launched.
Finally.
And
the culmination.
Yes. I believe there's a little banner on our Extreme Health Radio page, correct?
Yeah. If you're on the live show page, you can open up the homepage on a new tab or browser so that you don't get taken away from this page. But if you're on the live show page, you can go to extremehealthradio.com and see the banner on the right-hand side. It's pretty awesome.
It is for the Empowered Women's Channel.
I know, right?
.com.
Dude, how awesome is that?
It is. We are very proud of it. My friend Bo and I, my partner in crime / really good friend. We're going to play a clip here in a minute of when she was in our studio. She came and stayed with us for the month of March.
Right.
And we knocked a lot of stuff out and were able to really just live this dream and make it happen. And the goal overall, before you listen to this clip that we pre-recorded, is literally just to empower as many women as possible to live more vibrant, full lives and just thrive. And there are so many amazing women involved in this. It's just scary how much this rabbit trail is just unfolded, and it's just beginning. So
yeah, talk about a couple of the people you have involved. You've got some awesome people involved.
Oh my gosh, we are so blessed. Like, we have one of our, basically you can read on the website about Bo and I, and how we co-founded it and a little bit about our story behind it. And then under our Sacred Circle tab, that's what we're calling the main contributors and these amazing women that are involved. We got hooked up with Anna Maria Clement from Hippocrates Institute.
She's going to be a contributor.
Huge contributor, and she is a blessing. Not only is she a naturopathic doctor, but she's just a joy, and her writing style is phenomenal. And I mean, I still can't believe it's like, you're those, what do you think, you're those 6 separations away from, whoever.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, man, my world's just kind of becoming very small and intimate, and these people that, I've always looked up to are actually becoming a reality in in my life, which is bizarre. We have Bo Wong, my partner in crime, and she has my organiclife.info. Okay. Really great blog in the UK and anywhere in the world.
Right.
My friend Michelle Kramer from Organics.
Organics, yep.
We have LaShonda Green that we've had on our show.
Oh, that's right.
She is phenomenal.
She's a contributor, right?
She's a main contributor. Nice. Victoria Cosmic.
Oh, yeah, from Cosmic33.com.
From Cosmic33. My good friend Christy Crandall.
That's right.
Who has Wellness Glow, and that site will be up soon. We've had Cherie Baum on our show talking about essential oils, and she started thathippiemom.com, and that is going to be live today as well. She's had a little bit issues getting that going.
It's launching today?
Apparently that's the word, the last word I heard.
Good, because she talked about, like you just said, essential oils and all that.
Right. We have Lillian Abogo, and she's from the UK. She and Bo met in an interesting story, and she'll be on the Empowered Women's podcast coming up here, because that is a podcast that's going to be launching in about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And then we have Ashley Rupel, one of our great friends. She's become such a good friend, and she's all kinds of interesting. This girl is young and just rocking the health world.
Yeah. She's awesome.
It's really exciting to have her be a part. I see so much in her. She is young but mighty, and she has a lot packed into that little body, and she's just a wealth of information. We have Allie from Wild Woman Speaks, which is Dana Vitalis' partner.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be a regular contributor.
She is a regular contributor. She is just absolutely fabulous and interesting and blows your mind with a lot of, obviously, all women's issues. We have a girl named Gemma Lee, and she has a site called Wellsome, and she's a gluten-free expert and talks about how to really live the gluten-free way and just really get your lifestyle back in harmony with your body and mesh those two together.
Yeah. And also Angela Monarch, right, from the Raw Food World?
She's not on our main contributors, actually.
Okay. Is she
but she's going to be involved, and she has written some amazing things for us and done some, released some article, recipes to us. And she's from,
awesome.
Was she Raw Food World?
Yeah, Raw Food. We're connected up with their store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be women just rolling out. So those are just a little start, so you guys can check out and have fun with the site today. Let me know. Send me some emails. Let me know what you think of it, because we have worked really hard on it, and we just really hope that this is going to be such a neat meeting place for just all these amazing women. We're going to have some amazing things in our store, empowered women's stuff. I bought a trucker hat, and I swear I've worn it, the last month leading up to this, and people at the health food store go, "What is that hat? Like, what's the Empowered? I've never heard of the Empowered Women's Channel." And I go, well, because it isn't up yet, but I couldn't contain my excitement. I have a really killer yoga tank top with, really great. Our logo is really cute. It's a circle, and Bo actually hand wrote the women's, and she also made the little leaf. And you know, I don't know what her intention was. I think she just wanted it to look girly, like this little branch. But to me, it really symbolizes it looks like an olive leaf. Which after talking with Jeff Melcher and what was he? Rose Park Research.
East Park
Research. After talking about the olive branch and the power of just the hope, it stands for hope. Basically, that's a symbol.
Yeah.
And that's what it was so neat. After Bo designed it, I thought, wow, to me, that's what this says. This is a hopeful place for women to gather and encourage each other, make connections. Literally, I feel like we're just these, and I'll talk about this on some podcasts and also as well in some writings I've done for the site, but we're just these half, I see so many empty shell people, just these half alive people, especially women, just so beat down by all the things that they have going on in their lives, all the people they have to take care of, the lack of self-care.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's huge.
That's a big one.
So yeah, this is just a little taste. We're just going to be rolling out 2 to 3 blogs a week. We have a bunch coming down the turnpike and a bunch of people interested, and we also have a section up there you guys can check out if you're interested in writing for the Empower Women's channel, and you can go under the guidelines and see if that's something that you want to submit and be a part of. Because you don't have to be an expert. Like, some of these are our best friends, mothers, family members, just amazing people that just love life. It's not just health related. This is about, feathering your nest with organic green products, trying to live as healthy as we can. Really leaving an impact on the world without leaving a carbon footprint. It's very huge, and how to treat ourselves better with the things that we choose to put into our bodies.
And what's cool about it too, what I like is it's, this site is a lot about health and Extreme Health Radio and stuff like that. But I do want to expand further into different areas, motivation, success, and conspiracy theory. I love that kind of stuff. Perhaps on Tuesday's show, but with the Empowered Women's channel, it is about health. I mean, there are lots of articles about health and recipes and things, but it's also about every other area of life, how to, decorate your home, and it's all kinds of other subjects other than health, but they're all empowering to one degree or another, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, we have amazing articles about, my friend Kendall submitted an article about what it's like to be a mom of a Down syndrome baby. I mean, wow. There's these, people have all different stories in all different situations. So whether we wanted to appeal to women from, I think we say 5 to 105, or whatever we mix up the numbers all the time, but basically every woman that is in a life stage, whether they're a stay-at-home mom, an empty nester, or someone really struggling with a hard thing and needs encouragement,
that's awesome.
It's gonna be really fun. So yeah, this is the day. I woke up at 5 a.m. because Bo is on Australia time, and she launched somewhere close to midnight, and I wanted to be up for it. So we did a little happy dance, and she went to bed, and then I continued.
You've been up.
I actually went to work and walked the dog and made a smoothie.
That's awesome. You want to play a little clip?
I think we should play the clip.
Yeah, let's do that.
You guys can have a chance to listen to Bo.
All right, and we have in the studio a good friend of ours, Mrs. Bo Wong.
Miss
Bo Wong. I always mess
You always do that.
I know, right? Yeah, she is joining us in the studio. She's been staying with us for a couple weeks now, and it's pretty fun to have her around. And I want to take this time to tell everyone that we are announcing something pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's this little side project that you guys have been working on for how long now?
Just a little side project. Probably 7-8 months.
7-8 months?
Yeah.
And so nobody knows about this yet. It's kind of a brand new announcement. And
except all those involved working in the back.
The
back side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We know all too well.
Yeah. So Bo decided you were in England, right? For how many years?
Yeah. So I've been living in the UK for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And last November, I kind of quit my job. Not knowing what I was doing too much. I didn't have too much of a goal. And then this has all just kind of come together and grown, and it seems to be what I should be doing in life.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you sent us an email probably about 8 months ago?
September last year.
Uh-huh. And then you were in Thailand or something?
Yeah, I was in Malaysia on a yoga retreat. And I've been wanting to email you guys for a while because I just love everything you're doing, and I've listened to your shows, and I've tried so many of the therapies out.
How did you find our show?
That's right, yeah.
Do you know, I can't really remember. I think, from my health journey, it was more that I was looking at podcasts to listen to about health.
Uh-huh.
Because for me, I was on the tube all the time, and I read, but I also like to listen to things once in a while. And I started listening to your podcast, and I really like them. And then I was like, I want to be part of the Extreme Health Radio family in some way, and got on one of your shows.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
your
right.
Free for All Friday, which was, I loved it. It was amazing. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then Kate contacted me shortly after that because the energy we had was really great, wasn't it, on there?
Yeah, the energy was phenomenal. And I think the thing that happened between us is we both seemed to have like a little bit deeper of desire to help women, because Bo has a pretty successful blog in the UK going myorganiclife.info.
myorganiclife.info.
And you guys can check that out. But it seems like between she and I receiving all these emails for what we do from women, a lot of women just have, they don't know where to start sometimes with a juice, how to just shift maybe something in their life that's not that hard to be able to make a big change.
It's funny. It seems like that's more of a man thing. Like, how does a men are the ones that don't know how,
You'd think, women would have these intuitions and kind of just be able to like, oh, I can throw something together in the kitchen and make it healthier.
Yeah.
But I think we really both kind of came to the realization that there was a bigger need for not only women's in eating and in the kitchen, but overall just women's issues. Because I know I get a lot of emails of women saying, Kate particularly, what do you suggest for, what are you going to do when you get pregnant? What are you planning on doing when you, for your detox? I mean, and so we thought, wouldn't it be great to have a platform of sorts to be able to kind of put that all out there?
So
we just had to pause the show there for a second because we just went through an earthquake.
Was that your first earthquake experience, Bo?
No.
But been there, done that. Gee, wow.
I'm an earthquake.
Yeah.
Let's see where that came from.
Southern California.
Wow, that was pretty intense.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, wasn't it?
I was just going to head for the doorway just then.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know Maggie kind of freaked out. I don't know if we got her barking, but woo.
So, okay, so back to enough about earthquakes, whether we fall to the ground or not. There are still women out there that need to be empowered.
I'm going to jump on that biomat if it happens.
I know.
Yeah, at least to be in a happy place going down.
Just put the biomat over you and you'll be safe.
Shield yourself. Nothing can harm you with the biomat.
So we've been getting a lot of emails. I've been seeing them too about women's health and women's issues. And then you guys kind of work together to develop the side project that you're working on. And it's I'm just watching it come to fruition. And you guys are really creating a lot of buzz and getting a lot of people signing up on your email newsletter list.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible to watch.
Well, and the name of it, the whole reason we call it the empoweredwomenschannel.com is because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to come up under women, and we as women ourselves obviously know how important it is to feel, I'm not talking like fate, there's a lot of like crazy feminist, women power people out there, and that's not what we're going for at all. It's more of like
fun,
a desire to just inspire women in their everyday lives, whether they're in business, whether they're in health coaching, whether they're just looking to make some positive changes in their self-esteem and the way they view the world and themselves,
and in fashion, and just kind of any area of life, because we have really great backgrounds, because you have the Extreme Health Radio side of things, and I also have a background in design and photography and social media and branding. So we wanted to create a platform to also showcase a lot of women. And sometimes I think they have great businesses, but they don't quite know how to market themselves as well.
Right.
So we're giving them that platform so they can do that and get the information that needs to go out there that's maybe been a bit lost.
Yeah.
So, our goal is really to empower women, to empower others, so we can kind of come together on a more conscious level and be aware of our roles as mothers of the earth as well.
That's awesome. So it's funny because in today's culture and today's society, it's like for some women, or for some reason, but I think both men and women are less empowered these days. I think that the empowerment is almost equal in terms of women and men. And there seems to be so many things that eat away at our ability to feel empowered and to have that sort of energy to take out to the world, and especially women though too.
Absolutely. And I think what you and I do at Extreme Health Radio, we see that firsthand. People are paralyzed and just super afraid to make any move, because everything these days is, ask your doctor, make sure you talk to your healthcare professional before you decide what's best for you.
Right.
So obviously in the healthcare, that's absolutely true, but we've realized, that is happening more and more with women as well. We've always, I'm sure that throughout the ages, unfortunately, we've been seen as the weaker sex. And it's like, what do we need to be able to thrive and just really encourage women to go out there and live their dreams, because not everybody has a supportive husband or financial backing or a skill even, that they feel really confident in. But we all have something so different and beautiful to offer the world, and that's our dream for this project.
That's so cool.
And we've also got like so many women from so many different backgrounds, who are married, who are mothers, who are single, who are young, who are old. So I think there's going to be someone that everyone can, really relate to, which is in itself, I think that's a big part.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And we also kind of want everyone to start listening to themselves, not what we've been told, because, that's us reconnecting with everything again. And that's kind of a lost art in itself.
Yeah. That's a big deal, because we're always told, and I think especially women too might, always listen to other people and to value other people's opinions. And this idea of listening to yourself is huge.
Yeah. And also we don't want to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we want it to be kind of fun and happy and a place that, everyone wants to come to.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
You've seen it firsthand, haven't you?
I've been a part of a few things. Let me just say that.
You're in the kitchen making a smoothie and Bo walks by in a beard.
Doing a little dance in my vibrant.
I see it every day.
We're super excited though. What we have going on is it's all coming into fruition, and it's the people we've already met, and it's just beginning. It's incredible.
So the thing is too, I think people should know about it's not just about health, right? I mean, health is a huge part of it, but it's more lifestyle, right? Everything.
Yeah. So it will cover everything, and I mean, I think it will just grow organically.
Yeah.
So we've got so many great topics that we're covering at the moment on there anyway. And I'm going to leave it up to the listeners to, check it out.
Little teaser.
Yeah, little teaser.
Little radio teaser. I like it.
But yeah, we've just got so many, and it's a channel, and it's not just a website. We've got a Facebook fan page, we've got Twitter, we're going to have YouTube videos, which are going to be pretty funny.
Yeah, there'll be a couple good ones.
It might include us embarrassing ourselves on many levels at many different times.
Yes.
But we're okay with it.
Yeah, we're okay with it. And so, as well as podcasts too, right?
Which is a big thing, I think. I mean, a lot of people resonate with that, because I think being connected through the internet and every area is important, because people run out of time.
Yeah.
So you can just put us on, listen to us in the radio, or you can watch us. Like, any way we can inspire people, we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's beautiful that you came up when we first started talking. We were throwing around the word network and group and tribe and things like that. But the word channel is exactly that. It's just such a...
it's like channeling information.
Absolutely. It's such a wide, it encompasses, it's all encompassing. It's everything. And watching this and what it's going to become with the interaction of all the women in the world is just going to be phenomenal.
So the website is now live.
Yes.
That's now live.
We are proud to say.
And what's the URL for that?
www.empoweredwomenschannel.com.
Empowered Women's
Channel. Do you not understand my accent again, Justin?
That's from one Kiwi to another. It's like I'm talking and Kate's looking at me like we're
cross-eyed. I think Bo only said 2 W's as well. I believe it's 3.
That threw me off. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It threw him off. He's easily thrown.
So that's really cool. So what's the vision? Are you guys just going to continue to expand? Yeah. So what is the vision? What do you guys think as far in terms of like the amount of women you want to reach and what you want to accomplish? We're
going global.
Uh-oh.
We're going to take over the world.
Watch out, world.
I love it.
We're coming for you.
Get ready.
No, but yeah, in all seriousness, it's anything we can add to the world, and whether that's a little level and it's meant to be that way, or whether it does go global, which we have already kind of seen it actually, which is pretty amazing before we even launched. The interest that we're getting from women in different countries and different places has just been beyond mind blowing.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And I mean, our tagline is, we want it to be a place for vibrant living, like our channel, and that's exactly what it is turning out to be. So for everyone.
You're going to do product reviews. You're going to have blog posts and articles written by different people.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely different specialists in their field. So there is someone that everyone can relate to.
So if people want to contribute articles, can they contact you?
They sure can.
Just through the website?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a great way to get people's work out there too.
Yeah, and people who might not have that platform, or, someone who's like, I'm a really good writer, but I have no idea how a blog works.
Right.
We give them that opportunity so that they can get that information out there that needs to get out there.
That's so cool. So audio, you're going to have podcasts, you're going to have video.
YouTube, video.
Yeah, we're on Twitter. We're on, we've got a Facebook fan page. If you guys want to be updated daily with inspiration,
I love
that's
that.
on there.
You know what I will say to people?
What's that?
If they're listening to your podcast, stay tuned to the end.
Oh yeah, we've got a few surprises that we snuck in there.
So in the podcast, you're going to do shows with you guys, but then also interview shows, right?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And right now, as we're starting out, it's going to be a once a week podcast release, but hopefully that'll be something in the future that we can
Expand a little.
expand that. Yeah.
So the real juicy parts at the end, though, is from what I'm understanding.
Disclaimer: it might crack a smile on
After
his
the
face.
disclaimer,
Or even after the disclaimer, yeah. We've snuck a few surprises in.
little gems, little gems. I love it. All right, so it's empoweredwomenschannel.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us in the studio, Bo.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're so welcome.
So good to have you here.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, and we have in the studio a good friend of ours, Mrs. There it goes again. 2 times.
You couldn't get enough of us the first time.
I know, right?
Thanks everybody for hanging in with that long clip.
Yeah, that was awesome, though. That's really exciting about what you guys got going on. I would recommend people go in and sign up to your little newsletter list, right?
I would recommend that too.
Yeah.
And as he would say, you're off and running.
You're off and running.
Sign up and you're off and running.
I know. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun adventure. We'd be stoked to have anybody and everybody along for the ride.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And you give away a little gift to women.
Yeah, a little PDF gift.
That's awesome.
It's
That's
fun.
so cool.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. I'm just so excited to see where it goes and see all the people that you can help and, all the people that can benefit and hopefully change their lives as a result of it,
That is the plan.
And
We're
you're gonna
really
be-
thrilled about it.
And you're going to be doing some podcasting as well, some radio shows,
Yes, sir. We'll roll those out, I think, in about 2 weeks. So we're just kind of getting the site kind of settled and let people know who we are and what we're about.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we have some fascinating women lined up for the podcasts. And
Really?
yeah, because, Extreme Health Radio, we deal with a lot of, women's issues already, but this is just going to be, really geared toward women, because I get emails all the time, like I was saying, about women wanting to know about, menopausal stuff or pregnancy or cleansing, and this was a very specific thing. So, this is going to focus a lot around women's questions and ideal living.
Women are complicated creatures, aren't they?
At least you figured that out now.
Well, I guess we're all complicated, aren't we?
We are all. We're onion people walking around, right?
Yeah, but there's lots of
Many layers.
things with women that can be enhanced, and so I'm really excited. I'm super stoked to see where this all goes.
Well,
And
thanks for all you've done for us too, because you've
Yeah.
been spending lots of nights, especially the last week, trying to really help link work, get links, making sure they work, and
yeah,
making sure people aren't all scrambly looking. And it's been a lot on your part. So thanks for being so encouraging.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right, you want to take a little break?
I'm going to go muscle test for a fig. Maybe it'll be different this
What
time.
if this time it's different?
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Let's
okay.
do it.
Yeah, let's go do that. Okay. We're going to take a little break and we'll be right back.
Kate and I have had our sauna for about a year now, I'd say, when we first got it from Phil Wilson. And it's an incredible machine. We use ours about every single day. Kate sits in about 20 minutes, and I sit in there about for a half hour. Usually watch a documentary, and it's extremely relaxing. It's really, really incredible machine. And if you go to extremelealthradio.com/sauna, you can learn all about it. We did an entire hour interview with Phil Wilson. You can check that out. You can look at the pictures of us with it. You can watch videos on that page. It helps you to sleep really, really well. You can lose a lot of weight with it. You can burn, I think, around 600 calories in about 20 minutes or so. It improves your skin, increases circulation all over the body, and circulation is critical for your health. You can prevent and reverse diseases with it. If you have a cold or flu, it's incredible. It heats you down to the core. It heats 4 to 6 inches inside your body, so it's really incredible. And a lot of people use it for cancer as well. So if you have any kind of incurable, quote, disease, you can use it for that. And Dr. Shade is the foremost authority on detoxification. And listen to what he says about it.
How do I detoxify from plastics? I mean, you guys are using a sauna, and what does a sauna do for us? A sauna is great. It's moving a number of different toxins. Remember, we talked about the mice that if you put PCBs in there, then that made the mercury all that much worse. And sweating moves out a lot of plastics, volatiles, fat-based toxins. It's really good at moving those out, sweating those out. So that's how you're getting those out, and those are contributing to this synergistic soup inside the body. And so that's why they're good, is they're taking out a bunch of the different things in the soup.
And Daniel Vitalis, one of our favorite guests. What do you have to say about the sauna?
When you go into the sauna, like a far infrared sauna like you discussed, your body goes into a deep relaxation mode, and your sympathetic nervous system shuts down and your parasympathetic nervous system turns on. And when that's active, that's the nervous system, part of your nervous system that's active when you meditate. That becomes active and your detoxification pathways open up wide. Why is this important? It's important because when you go running and you sweat, you're not necessarily eliminating very much toxicity from your body. But when you sweat in the sauna, you eliminate a lot of toxicity from your body. So sweating in a relaxed state is how we eliminate. The other thing is that what's wonderful about the sauna is that it puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system response like as if you were meditating. So it's almost a hack. It's like a trick to get yourself into a meditative, relaxed state, to decompress stress, to reverse the effects of stress, and to get your body eliminating deep, deep toxicity that's stored in your body fat because it can come out in the oils of your skin. So I think, sauna is one of the most crucial detoxification, really health practices that we could take on, especially in this era of heavy toxicity, particularly fat-soluble toxins.
The sauna is really, really great. They offer payment plans because if you buy it through PayPal, it's 100% secure. You don't even need a PayPal account. I think you could do a payment plan through PayPal. It's got low EMF electromagnetic fields coming off of it. It's portable, so that means you don't have to knock down a wall in your house. You can just move it from room to room. It sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes. It's super easy to clean. All you got to do is wipe it down when you're done and wipe the neck down. And it produces energy and heat inside very, very evenly throughout the whole machine. All you have to do is sit in there for about 15 minutes a day. And the great thing I like about it too is it requires zero preheating. So you turn it on and you're starting to get warm. You're starting to detoxify with that far infrared light almost immediately. So it's really great. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It's about $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really, really a good deal because if you look at most of the regular saunas out there, they are in the $2,000 to $4,000 range. So this is really, really a good deal. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Man, I love Fridays.
Don't you?
I love Fridays. Had some more blueberries, and here I am. Enjoying my Friday.
Still didn't test good for a fig.
I know. I did the fig test, too. No dice.
No dice.
No dice. Yeah, no figs for us today. If you guys are interested in that sauna, if you go to extremehealthradio.com/sauna, or if you want to ask me any questions, please feel free to do that. I mean, that sauna it's such a great and useful thing. I use it every single day, and it's weird too because, with that kind of stuff, sometimes I get over things, but this Bellicon and the sauna that we have are just such incredibly empowering things, and I look forward to sitting in the sauna every single day. I don't miss a day ever.
I know, right?
Yeah, they're just so good. And the Bellicon, I don't know. I just think they're such great machines. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. It's well worth the investment. I've gone through a bunch of different cheapo rebounders, and those are no good. And
They said Chibo. I thought you made up your own kind of exercise.
Cheapo.
It's like a mix between Taibo and Qigong. Chibo.
Chibo. Dude, there you go. We'll get Billy Blanks to do that.
Chibo. That actually could work, huh?
That could work.
Huh. I'm just saying, with all this time we have to start more businesses.
Yeah, put it on an infomercial. You're good to go.
Right.
Chibo.
Yeah,
but if you guys are interested in purchasing one of those, it's just worth it to sign up and get the best one. I know they're expensive, but it's, if you don't, you're going to end up buying one or two of those things. So it's important, I think, just to buy the good one, and then you're set to go. And so
you won't be sorry.
You won't be sorry. And you just shared a link to empoweredwomenschannel.com.
I put it up there, and Kirsty says she already signed up and is enjoying the personal growth gift. That's exciting.
Cool.
And put a little heart. Thanks, guys.
That's cool.
I feel the love.
I wanted to let anyone know, if you're listening to this and you're signed up to our newsletter list, I sent this email out a little bit earlier today, but it's Ty Bollinger's Quest for the Cures documentary series is going to replay this weekend for 24 hours.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, starting Saturday, 12 Eastern, so I think that's 9 Pacific.
Nice.
So he's replaying the entire thing.
What's it called? A docuseries?
Docuseries, yeah. Man, what powerful information. If you guys want to, I think all you have to do is register. If you go to, let me put the link in the chat room. It's extremehealthradio.com/truth about cancer. Let me, extremehealthradio.com, truth about cancer. I can't do two things at once. I never can. I can't do it.
I wasn't going to agree, but I'm agreeing.
That's true. No, but he's replaying the whole thing. And so I sent you an email about it this morning, but it's awesome. I would just highly recommend checking that out.
Ty is such an informative dude.
He rolled through town, blew through like a tumbleweed. We saw him and we had green juice, did we?
We literally did. It was like a 45-minute talk maybe?
Yeah.
Got to spend with him, but yeah, we juiced it up and had a great old time, didn't we?
To the known and unknown universe.
Thank you, Adam Bergstrom.
No, but that was cool. It was fun hanging out with Ty.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, and if you guys are interested in that, all you have to do, it's all free. All you have to do is just register, put your name and email address in, and then you can watch the whole thing. Pretty
We're all
sweet
about
deal.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So what else has been going on?
Oh, gosh. Well, during the break, you and I were talking a little bit about, what were we talking about besides figs?
Figs and...
just with this whole thing. Oh, yeah. I remember what I was going to say. It's interesting because it was really nice. I got an email this week, too, from one of our listeners. She's actually in the chat room. But wanted to know, apparently I think it's probably a long time ago on some free-for-all, I was kind of mentioning a story that I never finished, apparently, about how almost all this life that I'm living now didn't happen for me. And I thought it was kind of important to go back there and kind of mention a little bit briefly about my story because it's led up to this Empower Women's channel and all kind of connects together. But basically, before you came along and entered my life,
strolled into your life,
I almost married another person.
Another guy. Oh,
the other man.
The other man.
No, but I did. I was engaged to another guy. Really, seemingly good guy. Very charismatic, worked at a church. We did a lot of youth work involved stuff together and really good guy. Anyway, we were very close to getting married and this was the weirdest thing. I'll tell the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
What brought me here today.
No, I want to hear.
Yeah. So what happened is something as we got closer to the wedding date, something just didn't feel 100%. It just didn't seem right. It was, I love this guy more than anything. And I was just willing to just follow him to the moon and back. I mean, that is how crazy I was about him.
Did the feeling get more intense as the date got closer? Of not feeling right about it?
Yeah, I felt more unsettled. So, my love for him was beyond, the love that people, it was just like the most love you could feel for somebody, and that continued to grow.
Okay.
But my concern and something just wasn't matching up grew as well.
Okay.
So I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something was just off. And so, because of how hard I invest in my relationships and how hard I fall, I just knew I was not going to be able to call this thing off. That would just kill me.
Right.
So
especially if you couldn't put a finger on what it was, right?
Right. And that's the thing. There was nothing. Yeah. We'd been through premarital counseling. We had all our sessions. Even the pastor that was going to marry us said, you guys are honestly like the best couple ever. You guys are going to make it. You'll be one. Everyone involved in our lives was just, thought we were, everybody but my sister thought we were just great for each other. She and I actually almost I remember she wanted to throw a glass of water at me. My sister. She's not violent. She's not like, I remember sitting in my parents' living room and she was
does
across.
Have a strong arm though.
have you arm wrestled her? Ty Bollinger and then her? And you can't handle her little stick arms? Just kidding. No offense, Meg. I love your stick arms.
But what
No.
happened? Why did she?
I don't know. She had this feeling. Something was wrong, and we were very close to getting married, and very close. And she just thought it was insane. Like something about it just seemed mad to her, and she literally wanted. I mean, at one point she stood up, and I thought she was going to throw the water at me, like the full water glass. And I remember my mom and dad were like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
Were your mom and dad in the room when this happened?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it wasn't in your bedroom or something?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, we were all in the living room, and she felt like she was kind of giving me this. I mean, I remember specifically, I don't remember what she said other than, I think you're making a huge mistake, and this guy, it's just crazy. She didn't have a reason either, but I just thought, what is her deal? She's jealous. She's older than me. She's probably upset I'm getting married first.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that stuff went on. But so it was Valentine's morning, 2001.
Okay.
Just about a month and a half before we were to get married. And I got on my knees next to my bed. The first thing I did is woke up. I had this overwhelming just feeling of dread. Something just had to be done. So I got on my knees, literally prayed and pleaded with God that he would literally just call off the way. Like he would make him break up with me because I didn't have the power to do it. I wasn't that strong. If this wasn't going to be a good thing for me.
Wow.
And that was Valentine's Day. And that night we went out to Newport Beach and went on a gondola ride, very romantic, all this stuff. And then went to a really nice Italian dinner. And during dinner, he looked at me, put down his fork, and he said, we can't get married. And I was like, what? And
so this caught you off guard completely.
It did, but it didn't. It was like, wow, I've always had that kind of a relationship with God in my prayer life. I mean, very specific answers.
Right.
But I still was like, are you kidding me? It's Valentine's Day. I asked for that morning and that night is my answer. I mean, I'd been not feeling settled with this for so long. And then within that very day, it's like I hadn't asked for that.
Wow.
I kept asking for God to make it okay and to give me the peace and to bring me all these things that I needed to feel good about the relationship.
Interesting.
And so he breaks up with me over dinner and doesn't have a reason. Just didn't have a reason. It was like, I just don't think we should get married. It was the most awkward drive home.
Did he say, I don't feel right about it? Or he just said, I don't think we should get married? What was he must have had a reason that he didn't have a reason. You know what I mean? Like he must have said something like, it just doesn't feel right or something, right?
That's the weirdest part. I think it's probably so traumatic. I don't remember.
Wow.
I blocked it out.
Wow.
But it was very much, I don't think he had a reason other than I love you. We shouldn't get married.
Okay.
It was very weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So we drove home and I remember it being awkward, like literally on the way home. I'm just like a mess, crying, asking like, I don't understand. Even though I didn't want to understand because I knew this was happening for a reason, but I wanted to understand, and he couldn't offer me anything. So he had me drop him. This is so dramatic. I know. Awkward. He had me drop him because I was driving that night at the train station down by the beach. And he wanted to walk home. It was like this total, like, he disappeared into the fog. Like it was all dark.
Into the darkness.
I'm like, okay, weirdo, whatever. So
maybe that's the reason why you shouldn't have married him.
Yeah. He did some strange stuff. Yeah. He wanted to walk home and walk it off or whatever. I'm like, good luck with that. So literally, I think after that, I think we talked once. I think we talked twice. We met once. And we had bought a car together, and we were having to figure out what to do with the car. And he came over to my parents' house. I was still living at home at the time. And I remember he said, do you want me to help you sell the car? I said, no, I just didn't want to talk to him because he wasn't giving me any answers as to why this was happening. Yeah. And I gave him the ring and he walked away. And then I remember there was one time about 3 months later, I was having just a really hard time. I mean, this is the most heartbroken. I mean, the kind where I don't know how many of you have had that. I'm sure most of us have, where I couldn't pull myself out of bed for like a week. It was just, I felt like I had died. Like part of me, it would have been better to die. That's how I felt at the time. Yeah. It was so horrific, even though I'd prayed for this thing and it happened. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So anyway, about 3 months later, I still just, couldn't get over this thing and called him up and he did meet me at a Starbucks and he wanted to leave after 5 minutes. He had nothing to say other than, I'm moving on, like we're done. It was the most heart-wrenching thing ever. And it was, of course, it was all dramatic again. It was pouring rain. It was lightning outside. We're at this cozy little Starbucks. And I just remember walking out and hugging him. And I said, do you think that there's ever a shot? Is there ever a chance that we're going to make this thing work? And I remember he looked at me. I mean, literally, it was the most dramatic, like out of a movie kind of scene.
And then the lightning goes.
Yeah, he's like holding my face, rubbing my hair back, Yeah. And lightning bolt. No, just kidding. And he said, only time will tell. He said, time will tell. And he walked away. And that was the last time I ever talked to him.
Wow.
So fast forward a couple years later, I'd met you and we started dating and I still was working through a lot of that, emotional pain from that relationship and never understood why. And I think we were about maybe a year into being friends and kind of hanging out. I think we might have been actually dating at this point. And I was sick on a Sunday morning, hanging out in my apartment, and I got a knock on my door, and a friend comes in, and I won't say names here, but
weird. Yeah.
She basically worked at the school where the church is associated with who he, basically the church he worked at also had a school, and she was my good friend, and she was one of the teachers there. And I remember her saying, "You might want to sit down for this." And I was like, "What?" And
so she just showed up, right?
Showed up
and told
and was like, basically, "I don't want you to hear it through the newspaper. I don't want you to hear it through whatever." But basically, he's the FBI has been all over the school. He's been arrested on child molestation charges, and I just wanted you to hear. And yeah, it was not good. And it was not just little girls. It was a little boy thing, which was even more bothersome to me for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had been going on the whole entire time that we were together, and having to work through that. I mean, talk about emotional. Here I am loving you in a new relationship, learning how to trust, and yet getting thrown a complete curveball with all of these trust issues that I didn't know what to do with. Do you really know somebody? Do you,
Right.
I mean, you almost committed your life to somebody and no one saw it. It wasn't like I was a bad judge of character.
Right.
It wasn't like I had an intuition, and my intuition said something was up, but holy cow, I never saw that coming.
What a cool thing.
So basically I had to work. It was really neat. And you were so patient with me working through that, and, just really giving me the space to kind of re-grieve that situation and know,
totally.
and really thank the Lord. I mean, I believe to this day, after 12, 13 years, 14 years, whatever, of working through the pain of that relationship, that he really did love me. He had a sickness. He was hurt as a little child. It came out. He had things done to him that shouldn't have been done. It was this vicious cycle of pain, and my heart goes out to him and his family,
Right.
and all that he had to go through, unfortunately. But he did love me enough to let me go. He didn't want to drag me into crazy town, and he knew that I would have to deal with so much, because then there was, court cases and prison dates and things like that.
He loved you enough to I mean,
he loved me enough to know there was better for me. And
for him to know there's someone better for you, and for him to not want to put you through everything he knew was coming.
Yeah, because he knew it was going to end bad for me. It was going to end tragic, and I'm the kind of person who gives my whole heart, and he knew I would have followed him, like I said, to the moon and back. So it's like he let me go so I could be with you. I was supposed to be with somebody who could give me something stable and something that I deserve back. And, that brings a lot of sadness for me to even say that, but it's true. So all that to say, that's the backstory without getting into too much more detail. But what had happened when Bo
it gets even crazier. Yeah. The story gets even more nuts.
When Bo was here and we were doing Empowered Women's, and I had been dealing with some health issues and really working through like my own pancreatic, liver, gallbladder stuff, and stuff that I was talking about earlier in the show, just trying to beat me down, as if that wasn't hard enough. We're on Extreme Health Radio. We have our earphones on, getting ready to welcome the guest on.
Yeah.
Who actually didn't show that day, I believe.
Do you remember what guest that was?
Gosh, I don't.
I don't remember who that was. Yeah,
No.
That was I don't remember who that show was, but we were literally getting ready to hit record and go on the air.
Yeah, you're like, Kate, are all your tabs up, or this, that, and the other? I opened my email, and there's an email from my dad, and he says, the title was, "Thank God he protected you from this." And then I clicked, I just knew, my heart started beating, and I clicked into it, and it was an obituary, what do you call that? An obituary.
Yeah.
Basically to him, and he was going in for life for another molestation case that had followed him to another state, and instead of doing that, he took his life, and that wrecked me. It was so strange. I still can't really.
Yeah,
You were so good to me, because I fell apart. I'm like, I can't do this show. I was a mess. I cried for like a day. I had to pick myself back up, and I had grieved it and really gotten over that relationship a long time ago, but to actually have that again brought up in a way that I didn't expect, and to be so sad and really
to be so sudden and surprising.
So sudden, so surprising, especially when you're supposed to go on air. I mean, that was a moment where I'm like, I just can't do this right now. I got to go recover.
It was literally, we're just sitting down to do the show. It's just amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. But what was neat about the whole thing, if you can say neat, because there's so many levels of dysfunction and sadness on that story.
Yeah.
But it was like, I felt like I was being attacked. Like, here you are, trying to stay empowered, trying to stay inspired, trying to do all this, and yet you have all these things that keep beating you down. You have your health. That's such a challenge these days. Now, if that doesn't mess with you, we're going to send you emotional stuff. And I felt like it's just this world was just closing in on me and trying to keep me down. And so I called Bo and I was like, basically, I need half a day to get myself together. I just need to process what this means and really grieve that all over again and again until I was done grieving with it. And I have, and it's good and it's healing in a way. But I thought, what actually interesting timing to turn that story around and say, this is an end of a chapter. As sad as it is, that chapter's closed. Like, having him on this earth was always an unfinished business. I had to learn to, which is why so many books like Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life and Ina Segal's book I'm reading right now, it's about healing and forgiving on levels that don't involve other people. Because in this life, we're not going to get the forgiveness and that closure that we're looking for. I had to heal on my own. This had nothing to do with him. He never gave that to me.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, a lot of times that doesn't happen. Someone passes away or something like that.
Yes,
like this,
right. And even if he not, just knowing he was out there, I mean, literally now that it's closed. So whether people are out there dealing with, having to forgive a loved one, you're right, that they've never had because of death, separating them, or just a situation where they couldn't make someone have that conversation, or they weren't going to get out of it what they had hoped to get out. So it's what we have to do in our hearts to heal and forgive. It's like you're on this lone journey, dealing with it, but to have that quote, like kind of chapter kind of wrap up, it almost freed me up to go, okay, like here I am on this new venture. I can actually put that behind me now. And he gave that gift to me through death. It sounds very strange, but like...
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, that's wild. So it's almost like he gave you a gift through that because, like you said, for the longest time, as long as he was around, you would always have in the back of your head, what's he doing? Or why didn't he tell me this? Or
how many more people is he damaging? I mean, and not like I'd ever wish suicide upon anyone. That's not what I'm saying. And I didn't want that for him. And obviously it made me horrifically sad. Yeah. But in a way, I mean, he loved me in these very strange ways that even in his death, like he left behind like a release for other people, not just me. I mean, he left behind an ex-wife and kids and very sad things.
Yeah, totally.
But the love that I felt it's almost like I got this big confirmation, like it's okay to move on. Now you can go and now you can be inspired. Your health stuff's changing, your emotional stuff's healing, and it couldn't have come at a weirder but better time. So.
Isn't it amazing to think about what could have been?
That's what trips me out.
That's what's wild.
That's what trips me out. That's why I thank God every day I would not be on this journey. That's why I think this is so mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like none of this should have happened. And had I not made that one little step to get on my knees that morning and pray a different way than I had been, think outside of the mind that I had been. I mean, that's the only reason that this whole thing went down the way it did. And
it's crazy.
I feel very grateful
to think of what could have been. I mean, it's just amazing what one choice, has and stuff.
Thanks for the love in the chat room, girls. You can send me personal emails too. I'm sure a lot of you have stories you can relate to, and man, is it hard, but it's so rewarding, and just to find the silver lining,
Yeah. Golly.
So anyway,
that's a wild story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy how that happened right before a show too, It
was pretty wild time.
Yeah. Wow.
But
yeah, I wonder, with each thing there's lessons in there, and there's lessons for healing and stuff. And so, with that, with something like that, there's an energetic release that happens on a deeper level that helps with your healing. So that could have helped with a lot of your healing as well,
I believe it did.
Just letting that go.
Yeah. Yeah. Letting go is a hard thing. You realize you think you let things go, but I mean, that took 14 years to literally it's like my fingers were slowly being pried off of holding a tight, closed fist. And it took 14 years. I mean, and to be honest, I mean, whether it's good or not, or horrible to say this, I mean, it wasn't done until it was done. Like it just always was in the back of your head. It's one of those things that just has this hold on you, and you can forget. I'd forgiven and I'd moved on, but it's still, I didn't like that it came up a lot and I had to think about it, and I chose to go there. And, this will always be a part of my story and part of my life, but, interesting, isn't it?
It's interesting how too, those books that you've been reading with, what's Alyssa Rankin's book again? What's that called?
Mind Over Medicine.
Mind Over Medicine. And then You Can Heal Your Life. It's interesting how those are so helpful for you and for me too. Like it's just, the concepts in those books are really, really empowering, to give you the tools to deal with stuff like this. Because, when you're that age, early 20s or something like that, a lot of times you don't have the emotional tool belt or emotional tools to deal with these types of things. And they just happen, and you react from, some sort of emotional primal mind where it's just your first instinct is just emotional reaction.
Of course.
And without processing things. And
it doesn't mean that that's wrong. I mean, that's what I did that. And,
yeah.
But it's just the time. And, that was what I have to say. The most true thing that ever came from his mouth, I believe, was time will tell. I mean, that's what he walked away with. That's the last thing he said to me. And isn't that true? I mean,
wow.
Time will tell. And I hated him for that for a while. I hated that he told me that and walked away. I'm like, who ends a relationship with something stupid? It's such a cliche. But now I'm like, wow, when you take this to the level of growing and reading and expanding and really just, I don't know, opening up yourself to different tools and modalities of healing, time, there's nothing like time. Time is the only thing that can heal.
Yeah.
And time tells, those stories that you look back on and you're like, thank God. Like,
yeah,
it was, I get chills talking about it. I mean, I encourage anybody going through stuff now. I mean, I encourage myself that if I don't understand it at the time, especially even with health things or challenges, I'm looking back. I mean, man, there's a big reason for these things. It's
funny. I wonder what, on a couple of different levels, if it's more, if the Christian idea is more correct and it is the way the Bible says it is, then obviously then there's some sort of lesson that God wanted you to learn through this.
Right.
But then it's interesting too, if the other side is correct, where there's more reincarnation and that kind of thing and past lives and stuff. And so he was obviously wanted to come here to teach you that lesson as well. So either way, the lesson, like we're saying earlier, the lesson has to be learned, and if you can learn those lessons without the incredibly stressful events, then that's I think that's what kind of meditation is all about, or getting, doing some spiritual work or something.
It's so funny looking back, like you wouldn't trade those because the most formative. I wouldn't trade that situation. I mean, it was that was single-handedly the one thing that shaped me more than anything.
Really?
That experience. Sure.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't trade it at all. Any of the hard things, I mean, we never learn through easy things, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't, at least. Maybe I'm crazy, but if it's easy, sometimes it's not how I learn.
Learning, yeah.
But I do agree with you. Like, I feel like more of that, not saying that there won't be hard, challenging things that are interesting in the future, but approaching it with a more meditative, Zen, different space going into these things now that I'm aware that there are different ways to be.
Right.
Is, I think, how I want to move forward. And things are going to happen, but I feel like I'm aware now that my reaction and how I choose to react to these things, I have control over.
Yeah, I think I mean, does
that make sense?
Yeah. I think those are really, when you start growing spiritually, you start realizing that there's ways to, enhance how you deal with these, things in life, and coming at it from a mature spiritual perspective. You can still cry and still have all the emotions and everything like that, but you can kind of learn and process through it and heal quickly, much more quickly.
I think so. That's what's happening with me.
Because if you let those, that energy, we all have things in our life where people have, maybe passed away suddenly, or maybe they've passed away through a chronic disease or something, but we all have these, things in our life that take hold on an energetic level in our body. And so when we're able to process through that and let it go, I think that there's huge healing in that. Huge.
And I know this sounds silly, and everyone knows this, and I'm preaching to myself here too, but just the catharsis that happens, the cathartic moment of saying it out loud.
Yeah.
I feel like just telling that story was closure again. It's like, I felt like I already had closure, but again, it's like you don't have this thing, just this cloud of
just this
repression.
Weird energy,
just weird. Yeah. And getting it out, I'm like, oh, that felt better just to talk it out,
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just good. It's good not to hold holding stuff in is where it all starts. And as silly as that sounds, I mean, literally telling someone is the best therapy.
Yeah.
Tell somebody, talk to yourself. I mean, just get it out. Scream in the car, do what you got to do. But after that, there's a time to ramp down and really, like you said, go more inward and not so reactionary. And I think that only comes with how everyone needs to grow and process themselves. And it's at different times. But.
Yeah. So we had some interesting shows this week, and it kind of brings to mind something that Dr. Massey said, and we'll close up here in a second, but I just wanted to mention this. I thought this was really interesting. It's kind of the main thing I got from Dr. Massey.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Remember how he was talking about that lady with the breast cancer?
Oh, this is interesting.
And it was really interesting because he was talking about family constellation therapy. And I asked him, I said,
is there a level to which family constellation therapy gets overridden by cultural and lifestyle habits that are unhealthy? So if someone goes through a family constellation therapy, say, and heals their breast cancer or heals some sort of cancer through this sort of energetic work that he does, and they go back to living a toxic lifestyle, being exposed to chemicals and wearing their bra and all this kind of stuff, will the cancer come back? And I forget what his answer was. Do you remember what his answer was?
You're putting me on the spot here.
I don't remember what he said.
Shoot.
But anyway, I asked him that question, and he was talking about this story of this woman who had breast cancer. And as a child, this woman was told by her parents, or her mom, I think, that they really wanted a boy for a kid. They really wanted to have a boy for a child. And, they were somewhat disappointed when she was a girl. And so she always carried that with her throughout her whole life, which I thought was interesting. And then, so he said subconsciously on an energetic level, she did the things in her life and lived in an unconscious way in order to support her body creating a tumor that would in turn, because she's so unconscious, cause her to get her breasts removed so that she could be the boy that her parents always wanted her to be. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or if any of that's true, but if it is true, that is just a weird concept. Isn't that strange?
Really weird.
So what else are we doing on an unconscious level, subconsciously, that we don't know? How are we living? Are we doing things like that are just as toxic because we're not aware of stuff?
I'm sure. I mean, don't you think?
I'd have to think so.
Self-sabotage or self-fulfilling prophecies just because our subconscious leads us in these places we're not even aware of.
We have these expectations of what other people think we should be. We want to live up to that, and we will do that no matter what. And so unless we wake up and start seeing what unhealthy practices we're doing in our daily life, we're going to create the situation that would allow us to be what we think that other person thinks we should be, by allowing them to put what they think we should be as something that's very important for us. So we hold that with such importance because we value their opinion so much. So we'll do anything to achieve that. Isn't that weird?
It is weird, but it's not weird. It starts at such a young age, and it's like that's why we're just we're onion people. Like I keep saying, I mean, all these things sticking to you. You're like this Velcro baby with all this emotion, not only emotional, physical. Then you have these parents who have these issues. Then you have brothers and sisters who made, it's like people that hurt you, things that were said to you. I mean, my gosh, just to absolutely try to dodge life and just survive.
Just surviving is
let alone not try, having your subconscious lie to you or give you these crazy harebrained ideas of things that you need to, I don't know.
That's why I think it's so important to get in touch with the spiritual practice, either through your religion or whatever, to get in touch with that, because once you start connecting with that, you can start realizing what you're doing, be more conscious, wake up and start seeing how your life is impacting others, how other people's thoughts and opinions are impacting your life, and you can start making changes so that those energetic blockages don't take root in your life, and you can start moving beyond that, and so you're not sick and you have the energy to do things in life that you want to do. I think that's really important, because it's impossible, I think, to be completely healthy and vibrant and doing what you want if you're not living some sort of awakened existence.
Yeah, if you're just treading water and existing is different than thriving, isn't it? My gosh.
That's why Daniel calls it survival.
I don't blame him. That's a perfect name.
Yeah.
Anna Maria, I had to share this. Anna Maria in a guest in our chat room. Or Anna, why do I keep saying Anna Maria? I'm thinking because Anna Maria Clement from Hippocrates. Yeah. Amber Marie.
Amber Marie, yes.
This is so neat. She said this is a new affirmation in her book. She says to herself, I am aware and awake. I'm awake and aware of how my thoughts affect me.
I am awake and aware
of how my thoughts affect me. That's a really great one to carry throughout the day. I mean, just to be, and you say that to yourself over and over and over, and that becomes a reality. That becomes the essence of what we're missing. Like that's exactly what we're not doing, Yeah.
Janine said she loves that too. What a great, because that awareness is everything.
Everything.
When you're speaking to someone, or when you're speaking, to a group like we are now, we constantly need to be aware of what energy we have, what energy we're bringing to you guys, what energy we're bringing to each other, how we're coming across, and then being aware of what other people put onto us and realizing that's just another voice.
Right.
If you're in a room talking with people at a party, are you talking all about your own topics and your own issues, or are you asking other people?
Is that
questions?
true for me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for this? Even, and then you take it a step further. Is that not only true for me, but is that even true for that person? Or they just believed it as well? So that's what I feel like gets handed down to us.
Yeah.
All these fake truths that people don't even know that are true, that think they're true, that are handing you this truth that's anything but the truth.
And they haven't even looked at it. They don't know if it's true.
Wow.
And so at some point, the cycle has to be broken, and why not have it be with us?
Wow.
Well,
being a cycle breaker takes a lot of balls.
Cycle breaker.
Yeah,
it does. It does, especially with your family too, and with how, things happen in generational lines throughout your family, and breaking that cycle, breaking the addictions, or breaking the whatever. I mean, it takes a lot of awareness and tension, a desire to create a better life for yourself and for your family.
The first time I know we're finishing up here, but I remember the first time I became aware of family stuff and what to actually call it and how to work through that was in a Bible study I did back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like some Beth Moore study or something like that. But there was this, I think it was called, I'm totally forgetting, but it was like about breaking your chains. But there was this section it was Living Free or Breaking Free or something, I think it was called. But there's a really powerful section in it about stopping generational sin. Oh. And in the book, it was called Generational Sin, and they went into like these sins of our forefathers being passed down to us and all this stuff.
Interesting.
And I just view that now as the same, quote, sins or sicknesses that are passed down, like Dr. Massey was saying, for 3 generations for some reason. How you could be carrying some of these fake truths from your great-grandparents, something that was, passed down to you.
Isn't that energetically?
Energetically. I mean, it's cray-cray. This stuff is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. How does that happen? Where does that energy go?
But breaking that cycle, that's when I first became aware of like, wow. The bad news is, okay, you get handed this ball of crap from your family and you can't help it.
Right.
The good news is, you can cut it. Like you can, it takes so much work. Like I feel like I'm just getting a glimpse of how much work it takes, but I feel like I'm cutting it. I feel like you are too, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm stopping it. Mm-hmm. I'm able to like resiliently heal and bounce back a bit more than I ever saw. I'm choosing to not stay in victim mode anymore.
Yeah.
These things happened, yes. They were passed down, sure. But what you do with them, when are we going to break the cycle? Like, if we're not breaking the cycle, it's just going to keep going.
It's going to keep going, and then you're going to pass it down to your generation below you.
Of course, because you can't do anything but, so...
And the thing that's somewhat of a bummer, if people think, let's say they got addiction to alcohol, just a common thing. If you got an addiction to alcohol and it was passed down maybe through your family line, and then you have it, right? And so now it's like, what can you do if you don't break that cycle? That could affect 4, 5, 6 generations of some person in your family line,
right,
that you will never know. And,
right.
And that could screw up their life, and their life could be something magical. But yet, because you didn't break that cycle, you didn't do the work, whatever that work means for you, if you don't do that work, that person, 5 generations, it may skip 4 generations. Who knows? Who knows how any of this stuff works?
Yeah, right.
But let's say it skips 2 or 3 generations, and then some person, gets born through your family tree, 4 or 5 generations down the line. They're meant to have this amazingly incredible life, but they have to spend half their life dealing with alcohol addiction that you could have spared them from. I mean, that's a thought that could be true. I mean, who knows? I mean, what if that's true? That's the way we should look at it. And if it is true, then then we have a lot of power in our hands. We have a lot of ability to change our family tree, which is such a weird thing.
Our family constellation.
Yeah.
What came to mind is like, let's get to work. Let's encourage everybody to get to work. Because I've been doing work, you've been doing work, but I feel like part of this getting to work and healing isn't the kind of work I think it is. It's almost not. It's unlearning. It's undoing. It's resting.
Oh yeah.
And it's healing in these weird ways. It's not like, let me fanatically figure out how to heal. Healing's going to come to me when I go inward. It goes all back.
Yep.
To like, let me listen to my own self. What do I need in order to heal?
What do you
That's
want?
when it comes full circle.
Yeah.
What do I need in order to heal? And it might be ridiculous one day to the next that it changes so much and it's different than I ever thought it would be. It's not the answer I expected, but my gosh, like if that's what I need to heal, I'm just going to do it. And that's work. that is work. It is work to be by yourself. It is work to go inward.
It is.
You don't have to just, a lot of people
comfortable.
think working through this is booking therapy after float tank session, after, buying these tools, after taking these supplements. I mean, all those things are great and they assist you, but like getting to the root is hard work, but it's hard work in a way that I never thought that it would be so, quote, easy. I mean, it sounds so strange, but when you start jumping into the flow, it's like there's this river just rushing by. And the more I jump in and let go and just go with it and flow, that's when the work is being done. Maggie agrees.
Yeah, Maggie
Let me
agrees.
let her out.
I put a little link in the chat room to thework.com. Can she get out? Let's see.
You're banned. Go.
She's banned. But yeah, I put a link to the work, but you're right. The work, a lot of times, because our culture tells us that we have to accomplish things, we have to do things, and in order to do things, we have to like go see a therapist or go see someone else.
Right.
But like what you're saying is, hey, the work is sort of inward.
Right.
And it takes effort and, a lot of uncomfortableness to sit there on a meditation mat or sit and be quiet, laying on your bed and just thinking about things and trying to process through things, or being quiet and silence in a meditation or something. Right. That's a lot of work. It's hard to do. It's uncomfortable.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's what you need.
Right. And to me, it's just so for years and years, I sat on, in a room with a counselor, telling my story about how, I was just so desperate to talk it out. And every time I left emptier. And
you're identifying with your story. You think your story's you and all this stuff.
And the more that I unpacked this story, the more I felt misunderstood. Like, this woman didn't live that story. She didn't know what it was like to be in that relationship, to have that kind of a love, to have all these things just taken from you, and to deal with trust. I mean, she got she's just a trained therapist, and she cared, but she didn't know. So my biggest hurdle, I felt like I jumped over, was when I stopped going to any of that stuff and started sitting with myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, even at night, I'd sit with myself in my head. I mean, before we got married, I'd sit on my floor of my apartment, just close my eyes and just work through, just let it flow. What is it that's bothering me? What is it that I feel like misunderstood and like someone's not hearing me? They don't know how to give the right advice. And I got frustrated by that. Mm-hmm. There's a time for therapy and there's a time for counseling. And I think it's mighty powerful for people who really need it in specific situations.
Totally.
But for me, it was like, I'll never forget, was it Sheila Hemphill we had on the show?
Oh, yeah.
Said that she felt like in her own life, therapy was like throwing up in a bucket. Like, somebody gave you a bucket, you throw up in it, and then you go to therapy and you like wade through it, pick through it, sort it all out, and then dump it all back in the bucket, and then they hand it back to you.
You're like, oh, I digested
Here's
this, I didn't do well with that, that's this, that's that.
Here's your same bucket, here's your same stuff, it just looks a little different.
Let's just talk about the contents in the bucket,
right.
Which is your throw up.
Right.
And then once we figure out what all these little different things are that you ate and couldn't digest, I'll hand it back to you.
Right.
For
me, that's what I experienced.
Yeah.
There was very rare times where I felt like it helped me very much.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated by that because I wanted to believe that someone else could really help me break through that brick wall.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got very inward.
It's interesting, this whole idea of everything we're talking about, because what stood out with Dr. Massey in his show, he said, some days you just wake up and you feel down. You feel down, you feel depressed. You feel something like a cloud over you. You don't know why. You don't know why you feel like this. And then the next day, you feel great. And so he said, he's had experiences with people where he realized that same day was the day that, his great grandfather
had
proposed.
Passed away, or the opposite.
Yeah, proposed to his wife. And so carrying this stuff with you is crazy.
But you and I were talking the other day about that. Yeah, it could have been like the worst day ever, or the best day ever, for reasons like that.
Yeah.
Happiest day, you don't know why. Yeah, your great grandfather proposed to your great grandmother, or you just feel those gloomy dark cloud. Well, that could have been the day that your mom miscarried a baby, or it's like it goes so deep. I mean, that's another free for all.
Yeah.
Wow, we have out-talked ourselves.
Yeah, we've out-talked ourselves 2 hours today.
Thanks for hanging in there, guys. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I just want to let everyone know, if you haven't caught that show with Dr. Massey, that was 261. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, 262.
262.
And then don't forget to listen to the show with Daniel Vitalis. I just posted it last night before bed, from yesterday, 263, on sacred sexuality. And we talked about circumcision, all kinds of questioning sexual social norms. Really fascinating stuff. So if you want your mind to be opened and a little bit further than it is now about sex and sexuality, listen to that show, 263. And I want to let you guys know also about our upcoming show schedule. We've got Dr. I haven't fixed her name or figured out what her name is, Dr. Kate. I'll just say it Blue.
She has a good first name.
Bleue.
Bluey.
Dr. Kate Blue. So she'll be talking about vitamin K2, osteoporosis, and heart disease on Monday. Then we're going to have Dr. John Apsley on the first part of his 4-part series on healing cancer naturally. He's got a 4-pillar approach to that. And we've had him on the show before. Great guy, just cutting edge guy. He's a good friend of our friend, Stephen Hines, Dr. Stephen Hines.
I love Stephen Hines.
And then we have Maria Valdivia. Gosh, I'm going to have to work on that. I can't go into that show and not know her name. That's not going to be good. Biomagnetic Healing Therapies. And her website's Biomagnetism Health, US Health. You can find that in our show schedule if you're on the live page. And we also launched a little app on our live show page too. We're going to be fixing this, but you can listen to all of our shows right on one page, which is really cool, and download them.
Nice.
So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/live,
That's a rad feature.
you can do that. Even if we're not around, we're not doing a live show, you can go on there and listen to stuff. And if there's other people in the chat room, you can chat with them too if they happen to be on live. We're getting more and more people that are spending time in the chat room when we're not even around.
I love it.
Which is pretty cool.
It's like a forum.
Yeah, it's really cool, like
live.
a live forum. So you can listen to all of our shows there. We're going to fix it so that you can get all of our shows. Right now, it's only showing the first 10, so I'm going to work on that today. And let's see if there's any other announcements. Yeah, Ty Bollinger's Truth About Cancer is free all weekend long. I think it's, for one day.
I think it is, right?
Yeah, for one day, extremehealthradio.com/truthaboutcancer. I also want to let people know that that we are accepting freelance writers for our site as well. So if you want to write articles for Extreme Health Radio that are unique, and if you're passionate about health and want your articles to be on our website, feel free to send us some of your work, and we'll post it with a link to your website and to your Facebook account and all that kind of stuff. And also, another thing I wanted to announce too on this show is that we are looking for some interns that would be interested in doing some work that would be a non-paid position for our website and radio show, because we have so much that we want to do and increase and enhance the site, but we are strapped. So
we need some help.
And so the positions, if you email me, Justin@extremehealthradio.com.
Or Kate, Kate @extremehealthradio.com.
We can send you what positions are available and see if your skill sets match up with this. And in the future, it could grow into a paid position. We're not sure yet, but that's definitely something that we would like to have happen, depending on the situation, depending on if it's something that you're happy with and we're happy with your work and things like that. Because we have grandiose visions of overtaking the world, don't we, Kate? We want to help as many people as we possibly can. So in order to do that, we need some help, and we're going to start out with some interns and possibly grow that into a paid position. So if you're interested in that, or being a freelance writer for our website, a contributing author, please let me know. You can email me, Justin@extremehealthradio.com, and I'd love to help you out with that.
And if you're also interested, ladies, in writing for the Empowered Women's channel.
That's right.
Please.
I am just so excited about that.
Go online and submit that. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good launch day, and it's Friday, and I'm very excited.
Very excited. I hope that website just overtakes the world. I really do. I'm really excited about that.
Well, imagine if everyone felt that empowered. What would happen? Imagine what could happen.
It'd be a better world, wouldn't it?
I'm just going to imagine it. I'm going to go forward.
A stretch. Doing a stretch.
You know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
Go retest the fig.
You really want that fig. Third time's a charm. That fig has to give in to your demands, doesn't it?
Maybe that fig was just waiting for like a little treat after the show.
Let's see how dedicated Kate is to muscle testing.
Oh, Janine, go get your fig too. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us live. What a show, 2 hours long. I appreciate it so much. It's so much fun to have you guys here. And
Love
Maggie,
you guys.
Maggie is just going crazy.
Maggie's
outside.
a hot mess too.
She's a hot mess today. So happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
Maggie says it's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even as you educate yourself in the field of live food nutrition and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers or listeners medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted